if anyone will actually come back. But I'm back again, and after the second time, hopefully my Wi-Fi will not go down. So thanks to anyone who will actually join this stream, because I said I was going away, but now I'm back. No, it hasn't stopped again. It's working. Yeah, okay, it's working. People have joined. Someone's liked. Yeah, so basically, Ben Shapiro tried to shut down my internet because I was criticizing him, and now I ride again because I fixed it. I'm back to you. Yeah, I ride again. There's people in the chat. Someone's texting me saying it's not working. Back from the dead. The legend has come back to life, and it's me. Oh, okay. Do I have two streams up? Like, one sec. I deleted the other one. Delete that one. Okay, I have two up. That's the problem. Oh, glad you didn't go to bed. I ride again, and I rise again. Glad you're back. Thank you, Tina. Yeah, so I had two streams up on my channel. I had my old one because I had I had three streams tonight, so I had my old one up as well. Okay, there we go. It's just one nice little stream. It's just my face. The thumbnail is good. But yeah, what were we talking about before? I've forgotten all about it. I was stressing about Ben Shapiro in my nightmares. Thank you, Yoroguchi Gaming. We're talking about how crazy the Republican Party was. Okay, we were talking about that. So, yeah. So I was saying, I don't see any difference between fascists and the Republican Party or white supremacists. Does anyone think it's controversial to say the Republican Party is a party of white supremacy and a party that props up white supremacy? And all its members might not be white supremacists, because I know there's some Indian Republican people as well who could be fascists as well, because BJP and stuff in India. But at the same time, I don't have any problems calling it that. Like I have no problems calling like the Tory party in the UK a racist party as well. But at the same time, you can't say the Tory party is a fascist party, whereas the party of Republicans, I think you could actually say that. Can the party of Lincoln? The party of Lincoln is not the Republicans, though, is it? Because they turned racist. All the Dixiecrats, like Strom Thurmond from my video, they all left the Democrats to join the Republicans. So all the racists just were in one party. And was it Chol last week saying Barry Goldwater? Because I was saying Reagan is the start of insanity in the Republican Party, but I think Chol was saying it's Barry Goldwater. Vibrantly Brantley said, "Do you unplug it and plug it back in?" Well, someone did in the house, I think. They watched Game of Thrones and the stream and the Wi-Fi went down. But Abraham Lincoln was the first Republican president. Yeah, but it's changed a lot since him. Well, I don't even think Abraham Lincoln was racist as well. Do you know what I mean? But he's from the 1860s. Whereas the Republican Party is still racist today, and he freed the slaves. The Republicans back in the day, if they had a teleporter, they wouldn't be the ones freeing the slaves. Sorry, just reading some comments about the video. Rational Voice, no bullshit. Barry Goldwater eventually became a neoliberal and supported gay marriage in the 90s. Oh, really? So, Cho, I think your theory was wrong. Libertarian socialist, he lives. Yeah, I do. I'm punished. I'm like punished Venom Snake from Metal Gear. I've come back to life after my stream's been taken down. But yeah, the Republicans in general, what have they done anything positive in the last since Eisenhower? Anything? I can't think of a single thing. Didn't Nixon start the EPA and now Trump's destroying it? I think that's one thing. Yeah, that's a good comparison, actually. Libertarian Socialist says, Lincoln resembles modern Republicans only as much as Andrew Jackson resembles modern-day Democrats. Yeah, the Dixiecrats as well. That, Republicans always have to say Democrats are the racist ones. Yeah, they were, and then all the racist ones eventually joined you because they were so racist they couldn't handle Johnson's civil rights bill, and so racist that Texas hasn't voted Democrat for a senator, I think, since Johnson was a senator for Texas. Nixon created the EPA. Yeah, Nixon believed in climate change. Yeah, exactly. In Vice, it's funny. When Ronald Reagan becomes president, he takes down all the solar panels from the White House, which Jimmy Carter put up. I think, yeah, that was when the party jumped off a cliff of just being, crazy, white evangelical, white supremacist. That's a good one. Christy said, not all Republicans are racist white supremacists, but all white supremacists are Republican right-wing libertarians. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. It's like not all racists voted. Not everyone who voted for Brexit is racist, but everyone who's racist voted for Brexit. Joe, are you asking me why the modern Republican Party is different from the modern Conservative Party? If that is the question you're asking, it's because Ronald Reagan helped unleash evangelical Christianity, like into mainstream conservatism. So they all jumped off the cliff with him, all believing this crazy stuff and all this religious stuff, combining it with Republicans' conservatism, which then created this monster. So Donald Trump. So there's a good speech by Bobby Kennedy, where he says all this shit about Ronald Reagan. He's like, if Ronald Reagan gets elected governor of California, I think at the time, because obviously Bobby Kennedy was killed in 1968. He said that if we elect Ronald Reagan as president with no qualifications, just because he's a TV actor, it's gonna start the rotting of our politics, because this is what people are gonna vote for these days. And then, of course, after Ronald Reagan becomes president for 8 years in the 80s, you get someone like Trump. So Reagan is just, the precursor to Trump, because at least Reagan could, if you were not into politics, you'd think he knew something about politics. Like, you can't watch Trump speak and think he knows anything. Like, he doesn't come across as smart anyway. I can understand how people could be tricked into thinking Reagan was smart, because he was glossy, he was a Hollywood actor, very good at speaking, he's very funny and stuff. But with Trump, he's such a horrible person. Would anyone want to be friends with Donald Trump? Come on, let's be honest. You could have a friendly conversation with Ronald Reagan, he'd probably make you laugh. You could not have a friendly conversation with Donald Trump without probably feeling grossed out or something. But sorry, taking the comments. Oh, are we back? Yeah, Alex. Sorry, I was telling everyone I was going to bed and not staying on. What do I think of the Lib Dems at the moment? Well, I'm never voting Lib Dem again, Evan, because of Vince Cable and Tim Farron. I forgot what it was the vote for, but it was an important Brexit vote that got passed by about 3 votes, and they didn't even show up to vote. And I was just like, fuck these guys, really? And then they made an alliance. It was Tories, Lib Dems, and Change made an alliance to help get a Remain candidate in this seat, but they kind of backed off at the end of the day. And yeah, Lib Dems I never want to vote for again. If you care about things like climate change, I don't think you can vote for people like the Lib Dems or the Democrats anymore, because it's not saving the planet is not compatible with the corporate parties anymore, like the Lib Dems and like Conservatives and like the Republicans and like the Democrats. And people were arguing, like I saw Jimmy Dore's interview with the Rational National, and they're having an argument because he was saying you have to vote against Trump no matter what. And obviously I'm different, because I think in terms of the UK, for example, we had the Liberal Party and the Conservative Party dominating politics. Essentially, you choose these people or you choose these people. And the Liberal Party was made up of Whigs and ex-Conservatives, right? So it was a centrist party, essentially. And the Labour Party came around at the start of the 20th century and just decimated Liberals, because it finally gave the poor people and working class people someone to vote for who represented them, rather than these elite politicians who came out of Eton, Oxbridge, manufactured politicians who maybe did some good things for the working class sometimes, but then you have a group that actually represent them, and then the Liberal Party was essentially destroyed. So if people don't know, the Lib Dems only have about 8 seats in Parliament now. They used to be the dominant party, or it's not exactly like there's not a complete through line between the Liberal Party and the Lib Dems, but it is essentially what it has become today. And that's what happens sometimes. You need a third party to run, even if it seems hopeless. Like the Labour Party was started by a miner. Do you know what I mean? And it completely destroyed the Liberal Party and became the second biggest party in the country and has held power multiple times. So, that's what my argument is against you got to vote Trump no matter what. So, Vibrantly Brantley saying, I know Democrats who are racist and don't know they're Democrats. Interesting. I guess you could be a Democrat who's racist, like Bill Clinton and Joe Biden, if we assume that, like, Democrats are all right-wingers, most of them anyway. So New Vendetta say we need Bernie. Yeah, don't disagree. Rational Voice saying Jeremy Corbyn won't win. He's been smeared as an anti-Semite. Yeah, but no one buys it. And in the UK, Israel aren't held up as, like, holier than thou. You can't criticize Israel. And I saw Meghan McCain say, I don't want American politics to become like British politics. Well, we know what you don't want it to become. You don't want it to become where the Labour Party will happily criticize Israel all the time. And yes, there's some anti-Semitism in Israel, in the Labour Party, but it's not like, it's just mostly a smear against Jeremy Corbyn. Like, you have numerous Jewish figures coming out and say Jeremy Corbyn is in no way anti-Semite, but they still smear him as it because he criticises Israel. So Evan's saying about the EU elections, so vote Green. Well, the EU elections, their main thing is they want to remain in the EU. That's what they're running on, isn't it? So I guess you could vote for them in the European elections, but I wouldn't vote for them at the general election. I won't vote for them again. I'm going to do a principled vote for once instead of a voting Tory no matter what. So Libertarian Socialist says it's both hilarious and depressing trying to read transcripts of Trump talking. His speech on Hurricane Maria was totally incoherent. If any other politician talked like him, their careers would be over. Imagine if a woman talked like him, Libertarian Socialist. You know that they'd be finished straight away because women like AOC already get told they're stupid and they talk insanity and stuff, even though she's super smart and super bright and actually really good at speaking. And I think the Young Turks did a good video. John Iadiola did it. It was about Trump's worst debate answer, and he just read it out, and it was so funny because it was so incoherent and crazy. So I'm catching up on the comments now. So if you haven't heard it read out, just wait a sec. So Alex saying, I've been reading a lot of novels, Chris Hedges' books, like A Brief History of Neoliberalism and A People's History of the United States, and so on. So you finish it. I'm a scientist, but I need those perspectives to gain a language to describe what's happening around me. How do you gain that language? Alex, are you asking how you gain political insight or like the political language to describe the world? Is that what you're asking? So Rational Voice saying Jeremy Corbyn would have destroyed May if it wasn't the claims of anti-Semitism. No, because the anti-Semitism claims weren't as strong in 2017, so that's not the case. That wouldn't have happened. I don't think it really hurts Jeremy Corbyn that much, apart from some elitists who say he's an anti-Semite and stuff. So Christy saying Bernie for domestic policy, Tulsi for foreign policy, Elizabeth for Wall Street, big banks, tax policy, need time for education. My dream team. Yeah, that's a good one. I hope the people who lose will come in some way, like, well, you have a nightmare scenario like Obama who beat Biden and Clinton and brought them both in. No, who really knows why? Probably needs to, Obama was seen as a radical one before, wasn't he? So he probably needed them on side. Yeah, Libertarian Socialist, I agree with you. Being smeared doesn't kill careers anymore. Trump won. Bernie's more popular than ever. Omar is beloved by Dem voters. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't work because I think a lot of people, and I think that's why Trump won in a way, because Trump voters, they're not woke, but you know what I mean? Like, they see how corrupt the system is to an extent. Like, the deep state, they're crazy because they believe the deep state is, like, liberal. The deep state, or, like, what an actual deep state is in America, is just the corporations and the lobbies' power behind the scenes. It's not like some liberal agenda which is secret and, like, Alex Jones, one day the liberals are going to take over and everything. But there is, like, a deep state in terms of, the entrenched special interest in American politics. That's what the deep state is. So it's good they woke up to that. It's crazy they believe Trump wasn't part of it, for one thing, and that it was somehow liberal and stuff. Yeah, Clinton, the crime bill, I was talking about that earlier in the other stream. Don't have our evangelicism problem. Yeah, because that's really tied to Israel, because they think the world's going to end, God's going to come back to Israel or something, so they need Israel to stick around and be like a land of the Jews and stuff. Yeah, Evan, it doesn't sound great because the complaints aren't dealt with all the time in the Labour Party, but let's be honest, the Tory Party are way more racist in terms of, like, all the stuff of Islamophobia and everything, you know, like there's so much worse. And I guarantee loads of Tories are anti-Semites as well, like proper old school anti-Semites. What do I make of the UEFA and Azerbaijan final? Yeah, that's such a shit show, really, isn't it, Alaban? Like, you know, you have an Armenian player who plays for Arsenal, and you put the final in Azerbaijan, where they treat Armenians like total shit. They have numerous human rights abuses, and it's an awful place to hold a final. It's not even in Europe, really. It's like Central Asia, not Central Asia. It's bordered on Europe, but it's on the Middle Eastern side of Turkey with Armenia. So I don't get really how that's where a Europa League final should be held. So New Vendetta saying, what I like about Bernie is his ability to inspire the grassroots and activists, something Warren isn't capable of, unfortunately. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I never thought about it like that. AOC is a good example, isn't it? Like, someone who can inspire people like Bernie. It's because they're regular people who became politicians, where, you know, I'm sure Elizabeth Warren was normal, but she comes across more like a typical politician, doesn't she? No, Corbyn won't lose the next election because of anti-Semitism claims. He's more likely to lose the election because of his stance on the EU, to be honest. No, he's not a goner. You don't national voice with all not respect that you deserve because you've trolled my comment section for ages. But yeah, Corbyn isn't losing because of anti-Semitism, and the BBC smear them, but no one trusts the BBC anymore. Yeah, Charles, Richard Nixon's super interested in how he worked his way through politics. So he's super ruthless, though. Monty68 said the deep state plutocracy want right-wing economic policies. Yeah, exactly. So the notion that liberals run the deep state by Trump supporters is so crazy. And the intelligence community. Yeah, exactly. Neocons run the deep state, really. Yeah, Evan, I agree with that. Jeremy Corbyn will do better in the next election if he's still the leader, which I assume he will be. Why do I have to stop watching TYT? Secular Talk literally like is mates with all the TYT. That's a good question, Alex. So Alex asks, if people want to put in the comments, because I think everyone can join in with this question. Alex asks, how do you come to your policy beliefs? It took quite a lot of reading and deliberation and research past the uniformity of Western media for me. What helped you achieve the beliefs you hold today? Yeah, that's an interesting question, actually. I think one mistake is like everyone's got a super clear-cut policy, or clear-cut take on policy. So, for example, for me, UBI sounded good. When I first heard Andrew Yang talk about UBI, yeah, this sounds pretty good. Like, everyone could do with an extra $1,000 a month. That would help people out. But when I thought about it some more, I thought, why does someone like Andrew Yang want this? Does he, you know, he could be just like a really great guy, or could it be that, you know, the capitalist class want to prop up the capitalist system at the moment, which is also just destroying the planet, and to do that, they will give like sort of a general subsidy to everyone so they can throw away more money on stuff that benefits at large corporations and stuff. So it's like you know the way we subsidize farmers or America does, and now that's my opinion on UBI in terms of it's a prop up a dying system. It's a prop up capitalism, and although it may have the benefit of helping people in some way, I don't think at the end of the day, because of my beliefs and stuff, I think it's actually just a crutch that this class want to use to hold on to their power for as long as they can. But in terms of like my general politics, it can be a hard one because I've always like loved history and I've always loved these politics, and I found certain people inspiring. Like even when I was more, I wouldn't say I was conservative because I don't really understand politics as much, but I always liked Che Guevara and stuff. And obviously, you know, Marxist revolutionary killed like loads of capitalists and stuff. I've always liked Che Guevara, and politics didn't really come into it. And when you read his stuff, it's interesting because you can read it without a political context and think he makes sense and stuff. And that sort of influences your politics. But we like to put labels on things. Like if you read Karl Marx, you don't have to be a Marxist to think Marx makes good points. You know what I mean? And I think it's helpful to read a lot of stuff. Not everything. I don't really understand this take that I watch everything to get a good insight and to see the arguments. I watch Fox News to see what they're saying. I don't really like that argument. Or I watch Ben Shapiro to see what conservatives are saying. Like I agree with Ben Shapiro and blah blah blah. I don't really like that sort of stuff. But I'd say, the best thing to do for your politics is watch stuff that goes outside the mainstream. So people saying TYT, secular talk. Sometimes Russia Today can even be quite good, or Al Jazeera, because even though the funding may make them hostile to the West, it is actually interesting to get an anti-Western perspective by journalists, because the stories they run are real stories, like, because they're journalists, and at the end of the day they have to make these real stories, but because of the agenda of the station, it is to pursue an anti-Western like policy, and then that's when you get all these stories from a group that hates America essentially, but it's sourced in a journalistic way for the most part. So it's good to watch that to get an insight and like take the sort of veil off of what you think the world is, and also reading Marxists or reading leftists' opinions of, more relevant Marxists. So, for example, Vladimir Lenin talking about World War One, for example, is a really good thing to read. I think for opening your eyes about how the world is, or Che Guevara writing about, or telling like the people in Japan, why do you let America like occupy you when they've dropped nuclear bombs on you and stuff. Like, it's just an interesting thing to read, to make you reassess the history you've been fed your whole life, and also there can be other things. I don't think it has to be like Marxist, for example, but what I'd say about Marxism as opposed to a lot of other things, Marxism is super, super critical, because by its nature, it's criticizing the system that we live in today across the world. And when you're super, super critical, it kind of opens your eyes a bit. There's some other things I like, wish you read more than just a super chat, typical. Vibrantly Brantley, I don't just read the super chats, I read everything. But thank you for the donation, I really appreciate it. But I'm just going on a bit of a rant here about things. But even like, there's something called realism, which is about the world having no morals, and states, like countries, the way they operate is whatever they'll do is just for the benefit of themselves. And I started to agree with that after I read the examples of like this guy called E.H. Carr, or you go back further, Machiavelli or Thucydides in ancient Greece and stuff. And yeah, it just stuff like that. You just need to read, but I think educating yourself on history first is good, and then getting the political context after is a good way to understand it. So, like the American Revolution, is it Howard Zinn who talks about it in a more like for what it was, which I really like. Sorry, I've missed loads of comments, so I'm gonna get into these. So okay, that was Alex. So Caleb says, I explained AOC to my 56-year-old Republican father. Maybe she's not so bad then, he said. People support progressive policies and they don't understand it. Yeah, it's like Obamacare getting renamed different things, isn't it? And it's more supported when it's not called Obamacare, because it's obviously like a good policy for a lot of working class people who vote for Republicans. So libertarian socialists saying Azerbaijan should be boycotted by democratic countries till they agree to free Artsakh and Karabakh. I don't know who those people are. Are they people, or is it a territory? They should be boycotted because they're an awful country, first of all. But football teams aren't the most principled people, not the most principled companies, because of who owns the football teams these days. Most of them are human rights abusing. TYT isn't garbage. Yeah, I agree. Secular talk is good, though. So Will Win Stanley says Tulsi's the best they've got. She's no liar. Yeah, I agree that I do like her a bit, but not as much as Bernie. The Rational Voice saying, shit, sorry, this chat keeps resetting itself. Make it bigger. Oh, damn it. Rational Voice. Oh, sorry, it's completely reset itself now. I'm getting back to the comments I have missed. So Rational Voice said, I began being interested in politics in 2016 as a Trump supporter, but I eventually got hooked into the progressive media, escaped mainstream media indoctrination. How did you start voting Trump? Aren't you Rational Voice non-white, I think? Sorry if I got that wrong, but from your videos you do look non-white. Yep. So Christy's saying, Caleb, I agree. This is why misinformation and just a handful of corporations owning all the corporate news is so dangerous, and why most people in democracies vote against their best interests. Yeah, exactly. Why do working class people vote for the Conservatives? Why do working class people vote Republicans? Which is even worse example, because Republicans literally have no policies that benefit working class people. So Newman Data saying Andrew Yang's plan is garbage. He forces people to choose between UBI and other benefits. Yeah, that's even in the worst part of Andrew Yang's plan. Chrissy's saying Andrew Yang only wants to give the universal basic income to all Americans, but he wants to take away all the other benefits like Social Security, disability, and every other social policy. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, Andrew Yang, I don't know. I'm a bit more wary of him now. Chris saying TYT sector talk, majority report, humanist report. Is it Bo or Bew of the fifth column? Yeah, he's that hillbilly guy, isn't he? I've seen him on BreadTube. So Evan saying, I watched a documentary on Catalonia and Spain in 1936 recently. God, it was amazing. The Ritz Hotel was a hospital and gave free food to working class families. As part of the Civil War, I'm guessing, isn't it? Because Barcelona was socialist, and it's interesting that plays into the Barcelona Real Madrid rivalry, because obviously Madrid was the capital of the fascists and Barcelona was the capital of the socialists. Rational National too, yeah. I don't watch any of, no, not any of them. I don't watch loads of them because I don't watch much YouTube in terms of politics stuff. I watch TYT. Yeah, that's bad then, the Rational Voice. He wants to keep the social programs but force people to choose between UBI and social programs. Well, it kind of defeats the purpose of UBI for everyone then, doesn't it? I know Ronald Reagan won 49 states in 1984? Yeah, I do. That was against Walter Mondale, wasn't it? Crazy. But he didn't win as much as the vote as you'd think from having all those states, but yeah, he did win a landslide. Will Win Stanley says, I want 60% taxes and tax breaks for savings in building and in good times to make the middle class. In the good times to make the middle class works if they've got enough income. 60% taxes for like an AOC type plan or for everyone? Evan saying Lenin hated Marxism though, right? He wrote a bit called Left Wing Communism and Infantile Disorder. So, sorry, people keep on. Lenin was a right wing communist. David Patman exposed sensitivity. I didn't think Lenin hated Marxism. I've read his work where he's defending Marx, saying people have made Marx what they want him to be, like the bourgeoisie have adopted Marx and painted him as this great German scholar, just to make him, sanitize him and stuff. Well, yeah, you can be right-wing and communist in terms of like a lot of other beliefs. Tim Pool is great, isn't Tim Pool? Tim Pool is like that guy who's like, it's all like an anti-SJW, isn't he? Like, let me read some of his titles. I was looking at him the other day because I've seen his like stupid face appear. Isn't he like a libertarian or a right winger? So let's have a read of his titles quick. Tim Pool says, left wing digital media collapsing. Trump wins appeal. CNN drops 100 staffers. GOP. CNN furious over Trump defense of Paul Joseph Watson. Talking about Facebook's purge of the right in terms of the Facebook purging, like fascists. So I don't really trust this Tim Pool guy. Leninist is not communist. I guess it's not. What's live chat? Sorry. Oliver Stone, Alternative History of America. Yeah, I guess that's good, but is that the one when he interviews Putin, or is that a different series? And he like really treats Putin weirdly, like he hasn't done anything wrong. And even that, say if we implement UBI, it has to be on top of other benefits. Otherwise, what's the point? Yeah, I agree with that. It wouldn't help those who most need it, and would just give more money to those who need it least. Yeah, but I think that's the whole idea of UBI, is to seriously like prop up consumer capitalism. And if you care about climate change, climate change can be stopped within capitalism, but will it? I seriously doubt it. Because in an ideal world, all these companies would be competing to create the best green technology because they'd see an opportunity in the market. But at the same time, I guess governments have to regulate it better because otherwise they're not going to switch over to green technology. Hi, by the way. Hi, Rainstorm. Thanks for joining the stream. Pop into the TYT live chat for the subs. Are you talking to me? I should do that. Do they have got a live stream on right now? Yeah. Oh, I'm nearly on 6K. So if people know anyone who might like the channel, would appreciate it if you got them subscribing, so I can get up to 6K soon. Well, they're not live streaming right now, but maybe earlier. Yeah, maybe I do need to promote myself. I know the Rational Voice does that a lot, including making loads of bot accounts. Howard Zinn, big time fan. Yeah, that's good. I haven't read enough. I've read some bits on like American Revolution. So Libertarian Socialists explaining Azerbaijan stuff. Artsakh, formerly Nagorno-Karabakh, is a de facto independent Armenian country, but the UN views as part of Azerbaijan's legal territory. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I never knew that. Thanks for telling me, because I was wondering what all the hostility was. I know there was a war between them. So Christie's saying there were huge swaths of the nation that received insurance through the Affordable Care Act. They loved it, by the way. How they had no idea that it was Obamacare. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, it's polling really well. I think it's Kentucky. They called it something else. Like, it wasn't even the Affordable Care Act. It was something else. Rational Voice. I was a Trump supporter because I fell for the conspiracy theories that he was secretly liberal. Trump has never been liberal. I mean, he would have funded Democrats, but I think that says more about Democrats than Trump. Vibrantly Brown said, all wealth will trickle down after our currency loses all value. Yeah, exactly. Trickle down economics is such a load of shit. I can't believe people ever believe that. Troll's saying, am I posh? I don't think anyone would call me posh in England, really, but I don't know. When I'm on the street and I speak a bit better, you know, when I speak to my friends and stuff, I I might sound a bit different, but yeah, I'm not technically posh. Like most English people wouldn't say that. So Christy's saying our currency is held up by the petrodollar. It's a scary fact, but a fact indeed. Yeah, it's not as bad as something like Venezuela, but it is true. So Alex saying, it triggered me when I heard Ben Shapiro say life begins at conception in that recent BBC interview. I was thinking about doing a video essay on a scientific defense of abortion. Yeah, Alex, that'd be interesting. If you ever make one, post it on the Reddit's, the subreddit BreadTube, please, to get some traction and stuff, because it is an interesting thing. Like, you know, most scientists would not agree with Ben Shapiro, but he pretends it's like a science thing, which is really annoying. So Charles saying the domestic policies of Richard Nixon were also called by many libertarians to be Tory socialist. What ones exactly? Like the EPA? So Will Winstanley says Tim Pool was in the original Occupy movement. He came from the poor side of Chicago. His friends died of drug abuse. He's no right winger. He's told us his life. He's fair and honest. If he's calling Paul Joseph Watson right winger and it's like a purge, I don't know. The language there makes me believe otherwise. Sorry, just to get a text. Yeah, Rational Voice, he literally talks about SJWs non-stop, so annoying. That's what I thought as well. Like, he's talking about, you know, SJWs, and I've made a video about the anti-SJWs. You know, SJWs just reminds me of cultural Marxist. It's like a fascist, like, dog whistle for, like, basically describing all the left as one thing. SJWs are so ridiculous as a concept, like, even the language of it. Sorry, that's what... So, someone texted me about James Charles and all that drama about him. So Violently Brandon said, do you think a country should follow all the rules set by the so-called UN? Well, yeah, because most of them are decent, and the US ignores the most important ones. So I guess it'd be good if we all observe the Human Rights Declaration, wouldn't it? But the US and many other countries don't. I assume most countries don't actually follow it. Chris asked me, sorry if you already said it, but did the Shapiro interview with Neil make any waves in the conservative circles over there? I don't follow conservatives too much, but on Twitter and people in my comments on my video, it was quite funny to see Tory people saying, like, you know, that's what you get. Because Ben Shapiro isn't popular in the UK, right? He's like a meme for, like, some teenagers might watch him and stuff because he's like a meme on PewDiePie or some shit. Like, he's not popular here. And I think a lot of people would have seen that. I think Jordan Peterson's more popular in England than Ben Shapiro, which is interesting and a bit depressing. But because Andrew Neil is like, he's like a he's a right winger in the Tory party. If you were a Tory voter, you might not even like Andrew Neil in particular. So there's no way you would like Ben Shapiro because he's further to the right of Andrew Neil. And it didn't really make much of a splash in terms of, like, you know, they're like, oh, poor Ben Shapiro. It's more like they're just all laughing at Ben Shapiro and how ridiculous it is. Because here's the thing about the UK, right? Even right-wingers like a good takedown of some nutcase. So right-wingers like Piers Morgan destroying someone about guns. Even right-wingers in the UK like that. Seeing someone like Piers Morgan talk sense about guns, I guess because we don't like guns in this country. And, you know, people support it, even though people don't like Piers Morgan, he's conservative and stuff. But they think, you know, at some points he can talk common sense. Like Andrew Neil, who is actually a good interviewer because he does destroy people, like, quite regularly. Not that I agree with his politics at all. But, yeah, it's didn't make like massive waves or anything. Sorry, just reset my chat again. Sorry. Okay. Charles was saying Tory socialism was a term used by historians, particularly of the early Fabian society, to describe the government philosophy of Benjamin Disraeli. Very little difference between the Conservatives in the UK and the Republican Party in the 1950s. I guess so, with Eisenhower and Anthony Eden and Winston Churchill. I'd say there is some differences still. So, follow the rules, even my country does it. Yeah, the US doesn't. UK doesn't a lot of the time as well. Ben Shapiro is worse than Jordan Peterson. Yeah, I guess he is. I think I would agree with that. Chris saying very depressing. Peterson is faux academic. Yeah, but at least I think there's a value to Peterson because people like his self-help books and stuff. And maybe that's something he could stick to rather than talking about history and politics, which he doesn't know as much on, and I would argue doesn't know very well at all. Will Stanley says Tim Pool just reads the news. Maybe he's changing. Fair enough. He doesn't want any censorship purge. That's what affects you and him and everyone. First, I came for the undesirables and I did nothing. Yeah, but Paul Joseph Watson pushing conspiracies about Muslims burning down the Notre Dame Cathedral. I think it's a bit different than me saying corporations control American politics. So Charles saying the Democratic Party was almost socialist under FDR in the 30s. For example, FDR supported free college and a maximum wage of $300,000. Yeah, well, back then, it wasn't as polarizing, was it? Like politics and stuff. So someone like FDR just implemented policies that would benefit the American people, and it was such a desperate time anyway. People weren't like, oh, this is socialist, I can't handle socialism, even though, it was during the 30s, and the Red Scare happened in 1919, and the Red Scare happened again in the 1950s and stuff. But, yeah, he was socialist in a couple of aspects, not like a proper socialist, but like more like socialist policies and stuff, which is crazy that, FDR would not get elected today in America by either the left or the right, which shows how, in many ways the US has regressed. Obviously, lots of benefits and everything to the progress in society, although, the Republicans are still living in the 1960s by most accounts, aren't they? The way they treat women, the way they treat minorities, gerrymandering, voter suppression, all that stuff. It's just quite funny how more progressive people existed nearly 100 years ago. And that's a weird thing about history sometimes. Like, we always look back in history and we're like, this person was bad. And I wonder when that stops. Like, because we always progressing on social issues. When has it changed so much that we can look at someone from 100 years ago and be like, yeah, they're generally like a good guy. Like, because obviously FDR, pretty racist and had some weird views on race, especially about Asian people. But seemed like a decent guy overall in terms of someone who was so wealthy coming into that job and actually doing good things for the people. Unlike, most politicians today. Sorry, I'm just checking something quick. No, echo method. No, this one. Sorry, get the comments. So, did I give it another go? What did I give another go, Mac? Oh, you're back. Sorry, I thought you were here the whole time. Yeah, I had another go and the Wi-Fi came back on. Alex saying, it's amazing my dad is a Greek immigrant to the US and he calls himself conservative. I barely even knew until he said because I was used to conservative being Bill O'Reilly and Tommy Lauren. Yeah, exactly. It's way different here, isn't it? Or in Europe in general. Like, just I don't know why it's so different. I guess Greece is like the birthplace of democracy and the Enlightenment happened and everything, and it's like in home in Europe, and I guess it's just different makeup as well. Like, America's such a massive country, and it's got a lot of rural areas and a lot of more isolated areas, so it changes in a different way. Like, I think California is pretty amazing in terms of California's a state that gave you Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon, but now it's arguably the most liberal state in the country. But you voted for Reagan as governor. Was it Nixon as senator or maybe a governor as well? So it's quite crazy how much it's changed. Is that due to the multiculturalism, maybe? Could the same argument be made about New York as well? So European Conservatives are like Joe Biden, as I see it. Yeah, European Conservatives. Joe Biden is worse for most European Conservatives, I'd say. Or he'd fit into the right of the party maybe quite well. Rational Voice saying, I'm thinking about making a video about how America is a patriarchy. Is that a bad idea? People in the comments, do you think that's a bad idea? Make a video about how America's a patriarchy. I don't think it is, but see what everyone else says. Yeah, Eleanor Roosevelt is pretty amazing. She's also a lesbian as well, or bisexual at least. And then she's the one who helped set up the UN, and she helped set up the UN Declaration of Human Rights, which is based on the American Declaration of Independence or the Constitution. I forget which one. Which is obviously why the American founding documents are so good without context. But when you actually look at the context, they weren't so great. FDR would not get elected today. Yep, same thing as I was saying. Definitely agree. Libertarian Socialist saying the Republicans did call FDR's policy socialist, but there are also people to the left, like actual socialists, which made the overturn window left enough that he got his policies through. Yeah, that's true as well. I guess the desperate times as well also tuned in. Also came, also desperate measures. I can't even talk today. Carl saying you have a larger history and are more in tune with what's happened. Even the TMZ movement is bigger in Europe. Yeah, I guess we do have a larger history, and I guess when America was founded, you had all the crazy Christians coming there to form up the base and stuff of a lot of the population, which I think is why, a lot of reasons why America is so insane. Also, you haven't had the development of religion or politics for as long as we have, but America seems to be going okay for some time, in some periods of its history, like the trajectory of where it was going as a nation. I think you have certain politicians and presidents who completely ruin it, and certain events that ruin it. Like, for example, how many years do you think 9/11 pushed the US back in terms of like political development and stuff? Or how many years do you think neoliberalism in the 90s did? It's interesting. Go from Jimmy Carter to Bill Clinton, then to, all these other centrist Democrats. So Max saying Joe Biden is a creep weirdo, so as long as most British Conservatives aren't there, they have their leg up. Yeah, I agree with you. Joe Biden would not get away with what he's done in British politics in terms of how creepy he is. Alex saying, Joe Biden once helped my neighbour load some shit from a Sears into their van. That's nice of him. When did he do that? But politicians always do shit like that to make themselves look normal. Charles saying, FDR and Abraham Lincoln could not get the nomination in both their parties. Yeah, I agree with that. Vibrantly Brantley saying, good thing we don't have crazies anymore. Yeah, I guess it's got even worse, hasn't it? Like, the amount of crazy people in America. Will Win Stanley saying, I'm sure Attlee, who gave us the greatest Labour government ever, wasn't for gay marriage and adoption. Don't judge too much. Yeah, I guess there's a point in history where you don't judge people for stuff like that. I mean, people taking down... Like, I'm not defending Churchill, but some of the stuff he did was super bad. But some of his opinions on things were really not surprising for someone like him. So I'm not going to be like, Churchill was a monster because he thought he was better than Indian people when he was born in 1870 to a Tory politician and he was super upper class. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, pretty much just a product of his environment, even though he did write some horrible things. So Carl saying, technically America is neo-feudalist with a plutocracy or a kleptocracy. We're leading world destruction at this point. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point, actually. The goddess Columbia. What are we talking about here? Christy saying, Brantley, I'm in Florida and there are only crazies. Yeah, it's Florida man, isn't it? Florida man gets up to all this crazy stuff. Alex saying, about a decade ago, very smiley when he did it. I was young when it happened, but even young me didn't buy that as genuine and grew up along the Pennsylvania, Delaware border. That's interesting. That was, if it's a decade ago, he might have been running for president, or he might have been vice president. So, interesting that he's still doing that. Maybe he is a sort of nice guy, but I doubt it. Yeah, Mac, we were talking about this, I think, before you joined again. Do I think UBI is a good idea in conjunction with improving working? Yeah, if in conjunction with, I guess improving, all these things, but at the same time, I was saying, at present, the consumer capitalism in the world is what's destroying the planet. Like, the current model we have is going to end the world, basically. Because I was saying, I don't think corporations, unless governments make more incentives, but corporations run a lot of the governments, including the US government. How do you get laws passed to clamp down on stuff that contributes to climate change so much? And if nothing's done in terms of that, UBI is propping up that system anyway, because that's what, in my opinion, it is. Like, why do people like Andrew Yang and Elon Musk want it? That's what you got to ask yourself sometimes. Because I think the Labour Party just said they might consider UBI, and I think it's interesting if it's on top of a lot of other things, combined with a lot of other reforms, especially for helping reduce the effects of global warming. But on its own, UBI to me seems like it's trying to prop up the system. The system of exploitation and system of destruction we have now. So it'd be interesting. I'd like to see someone else make a better argument for it. Like, I'd like to see a more socialist argument for it rather than millionaires and billionaires making an argument for it, because then it just plays into my thinking that it is to prop up the world they live in. Creepy Jigglypuff saying conservatives talk about hating totalitarianism while praising the military police state. Yeah, so, small government, but let me control a woman's body and let me just give loads of weapons to police as well. Oh, she likes some women in propaganda, Columbia. District of Columbia is DC, isn't it? That's interesting. Our national anthem was on Hail Columbia. Oh, I never knew that. Charles saying the business plot was when wealthy businessmen were plotting to create a fascist coup d'etat to overthrow Roosevelt in 1934 because he was almost a communist. I never heard of this. Let me type in 1934 business plot. Oh, it is real. The business plot was an alleged political conspiracy in 1933. Retired Marine Corps General Smedley Butler claimed that wealthy businessmen were plotting to create a fascist veterans organisation with Butler as its leader and use it to overthrow the president. And in 1934, he testified before the Senate House of an Un-American Activities Committee on these claims. No one was prosecuted, of course. No one was prosecuted. News media dismissed the plot, and it's a gigantic hoax. While historians have questioned whether or not the coup was close to execution, most agree it was a wild scheme. Still very interesting, though. Oh, for fuck's sake. It reset the chat again. Sorry. Alright. She was on our money until they placed it within God We Trust. Oh, that's interesting. Is she that woman? Oh, Columbia Pictures, isn't it? The woman on that. It's like, kind of looks like the Statue of Liberty in some ways. In that Columbia image. Chris saying, if you haven't seen it, Knock Down the House, Netflix with AOC and Justice Democrats, worth a watch. Also watch Cenk on TYT interview the producer. I do need to watch the Cenk interview, but I actually made a video review on Knock Down the House. I mean, link it in the comments. But yeah, I really like Knock Down the House. It was a really good film. It just like showing how normal people run for politics and like what it takes to get in. And it's just pretty amazing how she actually won. And you feel sorry for all the other people who lost and everything, but it's good to see the work Justice Democrats are doing and stuff. So Caleb saying that Columbia is the American goddess, the personification before Uncle Sam. Oh, interesting. So violently Browning saying not having any crazies is the reason abortions are easily accessible, safe, and 100% legal, and also in ignorance is bliss. Yeah, it's that's the thing with the Republican Party. Even though I say that Democrats and Republicans are both super corrupt and everything, it's just so clear Republicans are corrupt and insane as well. So that makes them so much more dangerous. So Carl's saying the underlying precondition of a market economy is based on the premise of scarcity. This no longer has to be the case given our technological and scientific prowess. Yeah, I guess that's true. And also, in this current system, like market economy, but I think at times you have a country like the United States, like, the United States could be self-sufficient in a way because it has so much it's such a varied country in terms of its landscape and agriculture. It could kind of nearly be self-sufficient in a way because of things like it has its own oil, it has massive amounts of farmland and stuff. It exports so much food and stuff. So it's one of those countries, a bit of a monster, isn't it? Like how much resources it has in its own country, and like you're saying, scarcity. The United States isn't too scarce and everything. What it uses is what it really wants is cheap labor for its products. Is why it gets so much stuff imported in a lot of ways. So Jordan saying hello, my friends. Hi, Jordan. Max saying, I feel Yang is a pretty good voice for UBI since his background in business. If Bernie was doing it, it wouldn't be taken as seriously. Yeah, but it's kind of interesting. All the Yang supporters just want free money. A lot of them do feel that, and I saw that like 4chan post where they were talking like pretending to not be racist and support Yang and stuff. So Alex talking about climate change, saying rainstorms coming in from the coast drag brackish water to land and dump salt into the soil. Non-halo tolerant plants are having a tough time coping. It hurts to read these kinds of damage reports. Yeah, I'm a bit ignorant on climate change, the effects. Like, keep up to date with them, but I think people are more ignorant about like how it will affect them because obviously America, Britain, we're not going to be the first ones to be hurt, but like Africa, Central Asia, places where the livelihood's so tied up in the current system of the world's climate and stuff, and if that went wrong, it would just the knock-on effects like more war over resources like water and crops and stuff. I don't think people understand how bad it's going to get. And you think the US is going to stay out of wars in their region? No way. So it's going to be your sons and daughters who are going over to fight these wars, and they're going to die because of climate change. So Chris is saying, our founding fathers did make up a deity worth American ideas. The whole story of the goddess of Olympia is absolutely fascinating. It should be taught in every school. Sounds interesting. I've never heard of any of this stuff you guys are talking about. Troll saying, a group of wealthy bankers decided to take things into their own hands. They plotted a coup against FDR, hoped to install a fascist dictator. Yeah, I just read it. Matt saying, just because some millionaire capitalists are for it doesn't mean it's necessarily bad, as long as it's being executed by people looking out for the regular person. Yeah, but man, Mac, like, I get your point, but I just don't trust Elon Musk or Andrew Yang. Especially when Andrew Yang's saying you're going to have to choose between your benefits if you're disabled or whatever, or you have a medical condition, and UBI. Chris saying UBI is a band-aid and an affordable care act style attempt at Medicare for all. Yeah, that's a good comparison actually. War is a Racket, Smedley Butler. Oh shit, is that the same guy? That was that book in like is it 1913 he wrote it? I need to read that book. People really recommend it. But yeah, it's really interesting. Yang's version of UBI is a trap. Yeah, that's what I feel. Olivia saying Columbia Pictures uses Annette Bening for the model. Oh, okay. But yeah, I thought that is Columbia. Caleb saying it was funny because after FDR and the church leaders got together with the right and the corporations, started referring to New Deal as pagan legislation. Okay, vibrantly ranty, pick off where I left off. Yeah, well, that's what I'm trying to do. But it just keeps going weird. I don't know why. Yeah, Cenk Uygur used to be a liberal Republican when he was wrong yet. Most Republicans are also evil. Well, no one thinks they're evil, but yeah, they think, their craziness is thinking they're so great. But Christianity often makes people evil, doesn't it? As does most religion. Cougar Jigglypuff saying, no automation without compensation. Let's just see some means of production. Yeah, exactly. That's what needs to happen. Vibrantly Brownie saying, I'm hoping for a beachfront property without having to move out of Idaho. Taking a CO2 gamma might pay off. Yeah, there are some weird things about climate change benefit in a lot of countries. Like apparently, not that I want this, but like vineyards in England, for example, that's how much the temperature is going to change, which isn't a great thought. So Carl saying a scarcity-driven worldview is a precondition that leads to labour exploitation, class stratification, unhealthy competition, power consolidation and the market externalities like global warming. Well, yeah, that is basically the current capitalist system, isn't it? In a way, it's all you can. Global warming is from capitalism, essentially, or modern capitalism. So Will Stanley says you can make UBI tax neutral, but not inflation proof and carbon neutral. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, does it go up with inflation? I never really thought about these things. Matt Bow said, I'm not talking about Elon Musk. I'm talking about if someone like Bernie were to carry out a UBI as well as a living wage, universal healthcare, and free college. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. End of the day, something like that, like the Labour Party are considering UBI, but you know. Charles saying, don't have kids with your girlfriend until you know that the climate crisis is fixed. What's the point of having kids if the climate change will destroy their future? Well, climate change probably won't destroy my kids' future immediately because I'm in England and I'll be dead probably by... What year will I be dead by? Probably 2080. My kids will probably be dead by 2110 or something. So I think they'll be the last generation who aren't in this country going to be really affected until they're a lot older. But obviously their kids will. So my grandchildren would be. So Max saying, I wish we would just not tax the first 30,000 or so you make. In England, you don't tax the first 12,000, I think. Oh, thanks a lot, Christy, for the donation. Christy just donated $5. Saying another awesome Sunday night spent with smart informed team. And yeah, it's been good, like, even though we had all the bad technical problems. But yeah, thanks for the donation. I super appreciate it. Appreciate all these donations people have given me the last 8 weeks now. It's been 2 months since I started live streaming. Crazy. Rational Voice saying we shouldn't have taxes in general because a free market shouldn't exist. Yeah, but I guess in the transition to like a more socialised system, it's hard though when you talk about like what it would look like how do we change it, and how far do we move away from everything, and how quickly. So Creepy Jigglypuff saying without rent control, UBI is stupid as fuck, and the just move argument is banned. It's not thought out at all. Oh yeah, what's it they're saying, like yeah, if you start inflating the rent prices because you know everyone else has an extra £1,000. So Alex saying, what's your view on animal research? My lab uses rodents and I'm tasked with killing them and harvesting their tissue. I hate it and I question the relevancy of the data I collect. I guess it's just an unfortunate thing is we have power over these type of creatures that many consider vermin and do, damage at times to human life, obviously like rats, whether that's spreading disease or just being a nuisance and stuff. So I guess it's more beneficial to test it on that than really conscious beings. But yeah, I get why people hate it. Why do you question the relevancy of the data you collect? Like, what are you testing for exactly? Like, why do you think it's worth us to kill them? Virally saying if so much simply just went to trading goats. Joel was saying our grandkids will blame climate change as us, even though it's our grandparents who caused it. Yeah, exactly. But I guess there's a lot of people, even our generation, who are super brainwashed against it. But it is inspiring to see how many people in our generation take it seriously. And I think it's because in Europe, you're just taught about climate change as a fact, rather than in America, where it's so politicised, places don't even teach about it. That was coffee, by the way, not like a big glass of milk. I'm not a little baby. Even though I do like glasses of milk. Mainly if I'm eating chocolate or something. Goats are not bad. Or bad. Yeah, I don't know. It gets, I was thinking about this today. I think I might have ran over a dead fox on my way home tonight before the stream. And I was thinking, like, what if that was a dog? I'd feel kind of bad. And I was like, that people eat dogs and then, I'm not vegetarian, but then, like, people feel bad when you kill dogs to eat them. But, cows or pigs, like, are they all the same, really? To an extent. Chug, 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 drink your milk, babe. Well, it was coffee. Well, it was like a rubbish iced coffee because I came in too late. Everyone was asleep, so I couldn't use the blender. So it was just coffee powder mixed with milk and ice. So it was pretty shit. But yeah, it wasn't just milk because it's a late one. So Charles saying we have youth climate strikers in America. Yeah, there's that group. What's it called? They were talking about Bernie Sanders the other day. I forgot what it's called though. It's like a yellow profile picture. Milk. Yeah, that's what I'm drinking. Drinking rat milk. Wait, can you not? Oh, this chat on this computer is so rubbish. Total timestamps. I want timestamps. Sunshine Movement. There we go. That's what I was thinking of. And that's led by young people and stuff as well. But yeah, like, I don't know how I feel about the animals getting tested on. I obviously don't like it. I like animals, but you know, if it's for research, if it's for cancer research, things like that, I can understand why you need them. Because, you know, what else are you going to test it on? Like real people? And it might have really bad side effects. So Violent Brandon is saying, once we move past a post-scarcity civilization globally in the far future, socialism will be the only option. If life extension becomes a reality, if digital uploading. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's watched Altered Carbon. That's a horrible future where capitalism wins and the rich live forever because they keep making new bodies for themselves, and they get so bored because they live forever. They basically start like torturing people because they're so fucked up, and it's just like it's like that film Elysium where all the rich people just live up in the clouds and stuff. So Charles saying UKSCN is the UK climate group. Okay, cheers. So Craig PJD Brown says automation keeps trying to say. Automation is a big problem though, and we should do more about it than simple common sense social democratic policies like Bernie. Yeah, it did kind of scare me, the Andrew Yang thing. I don't know what is the answer really. I do think Andrew Yang makes some interesting points about it. Milk is yum, Christy says. Yeah, but not whole milk. Like full fat milk is dirty. I like semi-skimmed milk. That's all I like. Serbia, Moldova. What are you talking about, Mac? Did I say something about those countries or something that's related? Violently Brownie saying that just makes me want to start running scams and making money. I always want to run scams. I'll do YouTube scams. Just keep making videos on Ben Shapiro. And I'll get loads of views. Alex saying the work I did is for breast cancer research. We inject cancer cells into immune compromised mice to see how the bones and tumours interact. I guess that's a good thing though. Like at least you're doing something for cancer rather than like, I don't know, something that's more experimental for something that's not as relevant. You're doing something for like something that destroys so many people's lives every year. And if you have to test it on rats, yeah, it's pretty horrible, but at the same time, I guess it's a good starting point for testing on people, so you don't really hurt anything that's conscious. And, you know, how many rats do we kill? And I guess it's kind of even. How many rats, of us have rats killed? World War One, eating soldiers alive, basically. Oh, I hate rats, man, sometimes. If everyone's played The Witcher, there's a horrible quest in it where this girl talks about being eaten. This girl's ghost talks about being eaten by rats. Oh, it's disgusting. So Carl saying Jacques Fresco was on the David Letterman show in 1974, introducing social cyber nearing. He had blueprints of many advanced things. He showed us how to tap volcanoes, giving us 20 million years of clean power. Is volcanoes, aren't they used, isn't that like geothermal power? Like they use in places like Iceland and stuff. Rats are very intelligent, we should avoid killing them. Yeah, I don't know, I'm conflicted, but if it's for really important reasons like cancer research and stuff. Did the UK call a climate emergency? Yeah, they did in Parliament. It's not like anything binding, but they did it and then Ireland did it. What's ironic about Ireland did it is they probably do the least about climate change. Maybe because they only have 6 million people, I think they get away with it. But Alex saying, but we inject human lady boob cells into mice. They don't have the same chemical reactions that humans do, so I don't know how generalizable it is to human studies. I guess it isn't just to test it out on something first. Like, what else could you test it on? I guess isn't part of the research seeing how it affects them, and maybe that's like a variable you have to consider, but it's worth it, I guess. Bats are cute. Like, if you actually see a bat like up close, they're cute. I think they should start using bats that ugly and jump down from the ceiling, making me unwanted hit points. But I like the bats. Bats, not rats. I like them both. Charles saying don't have kids until 2030. I'd probably start having kids in 6 years, 7 years. So 2026. Max saying, was David Letterman really on TV 45 years ago? I watched David Letterman interview Harrison Ford for Blade Runner in 1981, so I assume he probably is. Batman disagrees. Christy loves bats as well. Will Insani says, TED Talks, Alan Savory, How to Fight Desertification and Reverse Climate Change, Return Hearing Animals to Grasslands, and the Manure Adds to the Soil CO2 Absorption. Oh, that's interesting. I never thought of that. The biggest thing for climate change is stop eating fucking beef and stop the cattle industry or cattle farming industry, especially in South America. But then it's so hard because obviously so many of the world's population rely on it, and then the economies of those countries are so tied to the beef industry. Like I think 70% of the world's beef comes from Argentina and Brazil. Here's the Goddess of Colombia link. Where is the link? Cho asks, when will you guys start having kids? Does anyone in the chat have kids, and is anyone planning on it? I will never have kids. Nobody loves me. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Maybe that's why you were telling me not to have kids. Or was that Cho who was telling me not to have kids? Oh, I want to get to 6,000 subs so bad. I want to get to 100,000. That's never going to happen. Yeah, I have to look at the live chat. Eric saying, not going to be in the chat this time, but I'm listening while driving. Also, oh, hi Eric, thanks for listening still. Also, by the way, yes, agribusiness needs to be radically changed, minimised. Just watch the movie Cowspiracy. Okay, I need to educate myself more on this farm stuff. But yeah, agriculture, obviously, cattle farming in particular in the Amazon, you're getting rid of loads of plants that stop CO2 going into the atmosphere. You replace it with loads of cows who contribute to global warming through methane. I thought it was methane farts. Someone told me it was methane burps. Because obviously methane helps trap the CO2 in the atmosphere. And then you also have the meat industry, which like many industries, you're flying all that stuff all around the world, which can contribute even more. But the deforestation is the big one, isn't it? In terms of the meat industry. And the cows replacing, something that contributes to global warming, replacing something that, reduces it. Yeah, capitalism driving global warming, as you said, says Chris. Mac, you need to become a right winger and start talking about how you used to be left wing while liberalism starts. That'll get you some subs. Yeah, that'll make me subs and money, because that's what's lucrative on the internet. Being an idiot, basically, and a sellout. Instead of top chat, oh, okay. Oh, I'm on top chat. Okay, live chat. There always a difference. Okay, now I can go on the link. Let me find it. There we go. Open another tab. Sorry, it's got an ad. Oh, okay, it's an 8-minute video. I'll watch that after the stream. I thought it was something else. That's awesome. Shit, wait. Have I been missing people's stuff because I've been on live chat? I apologise if I have. I don't think I missed too many though. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry if I missed people's comments if it was changed. Kobe J. Huff says, in my opinion, we should accelerate towards automating the majority of jobs and put all our focus on the sciences, soul and climate change problem. That would be my ideal society. Not going to happen though. Yeah, it's like Star Trek society, but at the same time, it's just so hard to change all this stuff, isn't it? Really. You must love yourself when anyone else can. Too true, Jordan. Violently Brantley found a bat in a mine as a kid, brought it home, and set it free in the middle of winter. We all regrets. Sorry, I'll stupid chat. It was cute. Yeah, bats are cute. So Carl saying the clip here on YouTube is called Introducing Socio-Cyberneering. Here's a holistic transportation system blueprint using magnetic field. The trains that move up to 2,000 miles per hour. That's super interesting. That's like, who's that author they talk about in Back to the Future? Jules Verne? Is that the right person? Let me type in. It's like he wrote all those futuristic books in the 1800s. Jules Verne? No. Jules Gabriel Verne? Who's Jules Verne? Oh, it is Jules Verne. Verne's collection includes Journey to the Centre of the Earth, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and Around the World in 80 Days. I think that's the right guy. Doc Brown and his wife talk about it. Okay, Mac. I think I saw some comments, Mac, that were different. I don't know why they're different. I saw one comment when I looked back that wasn't there before. Alex saying it's also really hard to gas the poor critters of CO2. The one gas that causes hypoxic panic and then cuts them open and stab their lungs so they can't breathe. It's brutal. Oh, that's pretty horrible. Do you gas them all together? Is it like a gas chamber? Rational voice. The person I told I loved told me to stay away from her forever. Why did she tell you to stay away from her forever? Was it something you did, or something that you just couldn't help? So Chris is saying, don't explore abandoned mine shafts, not without permission and safety gear, and support the outside of the mine shaft. I don't even know, where all are mine shafts in England? Wales, I think, and some other places. Huge different kind of live chat shows all comments. Oh no, I'm really sorry if I've been like ignoring people. Wait, I'm trying to. Oh, okay. It not what I'm seeing here. It mainly just blocks links for the most part. A couple other comments though. That's bad. Right, I'm just gonna fix something in my room quick. One sec. I'll be back. Sorry, my computer was just making loads of noise, so I just wanted to check what it was. Live chat's where it's at. So Rational Boy said rude things to his girlfriend and now he regrets it. Will you be an edgelord again like you were in the other chat? Will and Stanley says desertification area of 1 billion square miles. Can we stop the reverse of local farmers? The story is also more methane and nitrogen binding. Cows have been herding for thousands of years. But I guess cows haven't been herded on this scale, have they? Which obviously hurts the environment more. Alex saying, sometimes the rats bite their tongues and bleed while they're struggling. Yeah, it is horrible. All my colleagues tell me to get over it if I want to choose science, but I just can't. Maybe you're in the wrong job then if it's so distressing for you. Does it really, like, weigh heavy on your mind? It's not probably the best for your mental health. What's the odds abortion becomes illegal in America and the UK? Abortion is illegal in Northern Ireland, which is really strange compared to Ireland. Ireland made it legal recently, like in a more general law. Northern Ireland, it's illegal. So that's something the Protestants in the UK and America share. Jordan saying to the National Boys, get over it. Real happiness doesn't come from other people. Making your happiness someone else's responsibility is childish and fake. Oh, savage by Jordan. Rational Voice replying, Jordan, what about helping each other is what happiness should be all about. And Charles saying, yeah, abortion is criminalised in Georgia and Texas. Yeah, I'm sure we're all aware of that ridiculous Georgia law lately, aren't we? Just how barbaric it is. Don't trigger Ben Shapiro, fucking alt-right little shithead. I'm still laughing at my title. I think that's quite funny. Ben Shapiro shut down my Wi-Fi. I ride again. Baharov saying there's a search engine that plants trees. Yeah, I was looking at Ecosia. Does anyone else use it? I was thinking about switching the other day. Don't know if it seems weird. Oh, cheers, Max. Matt donated $666. Thanks a lot for the donation, man. I really appreciate it. So he says, would you rather have a battle to the death of a Great Dane-sized cat or two regular full-grown pit bulls? That's easy. Great Dane-sized cat. That's like a fucking cougar or something. Pit bulls can be quite small, so I'd rather two pit bulls. Like cat is way more deadly as well. Like a large cat compared to a dog. Dogs are kind of dumb sometimes. I know they're quite savage, but like dogs only really have their mouth, where cats have their claws and their teeth, and they're way more agile. And a Great Dane is obviously quite big. Like a Great Dane can nearly be the size of two pit bulls. Violently Brantley saying if we could bring back dinosaurs, you promote Chick-fil-A. What? I've never even had that. Are you saying Chick-fil-A or are you talking about the fast food restaurant? Chick-fil-A or Chick-fil-A or whatever the hell it's called. I've never been there. DRFTR77 says, didn't they want abortion to have the death sentence in Texas? Well, they tried to sneak it in the Georgia law at the last minute. It's like 100, not the death sentence, but 100 years in prison if you get an abortion or something. So Chris is saying, Connor, it's not a big deal now with under 20 commenters, but you'll grow and there'll be a time when you have hundreds of chatters. It'll be imperative to keep online for chat or not. Oh, you're telling me off. Yeah, okay, that's good. I didn't know the difference because, right, what I normally do, let me check quick. I normally get my phone, because I'm using my iPad right now. I get my phone and get my live stream and then, donation. I want to read this. So, but that's live. No, it's top chat as well. But yeah, I need to change it up. Oh, all these donations. Oh, Violently Brantley, really appreciate it. So you don't want to miss anything. You need to set it to live chat, not top chat. Yeah, I do. But thanks a lot for the donation. I really appreciate it. And Alex, thanks for $10, man. That's super nice of you. So Alex says, cheers to our friend for doing this live stream, responding to us. Dig deep, yo. Thanks a lot, Alex. Did you follow up on what I asked you about if you're quitting your job? Maybe if it doesn't help you so much. But yeah, thanks a lot, Mac, Violently Brantley, and Alex. Super appreciate the donations. And thanks for donations earlier, Christy. And I think someone else donated as well. Sorry if I've forgotten your name. I'm not a good person. Chris they're saying the real methane threat will come from foreign Arctic permafrost. Oh, yeah, that as well. And all the cows. It's going to be a methane massacre. So Charles saying the Catholic Church is more rational than the Protestant Church in America. The majority of Catholics vote Democrats. That's not true, Joel. The majority, well, I don't know. No, the majority of Catholics are white, and the majority of white Catholics voted for Trump. You can check it out on the data of the election, which is really disgusting and surprising for someone who comes from an immigrant Catholic background as well. I can't believe they voted for Trump. So Chrissy saying they wanted the death penalty to be a punishment in Texas for women having an abortion, and they wanted jail time for miscarriages. What the hell? America is so crazy, man. They think Muslim countries are bad. Chris agreed a cougar is a savage. Whose net mentality? Just link me something. Ben Shapiro using Semitism to shape a narrative. Are you just a bot who sends people Ben Shapiro stuff? Why is this your only video? Who are you, net mentality? Oh, so many butt hurts on my fucking video of Ben Shapiro, man. I just got more notifications. Let's make it rain, y'all, says Matt. Yeah, everyone donate. No, seriously, don't donate if you can't afford it. Don't ever donate. Oh yeah, I made my Patreon last week. I haven't finished it though because I only made it because you have to pay now. After the deadline, which was May 4th or something, you have to pay to get the real one, which is dumb. So I just thought I made it. Rational Voice said, you donated $2 to me just to pop up to try and make you forgive you because I muted you from the chat of like every bot account you had. So Alex saying, there are alternatives to animal research that provide similar or even better quality data. I think it's just a relic. Oh, that's interesting. What do you think is the alternative? At least we don't use humans anymore. Yeah, that's exciting. That's good. Chris saying the rational voice is not very rational. Animal powers. Oh, sorry. Kavanackle. Are you single? And if so, are you top or bottom? Would you ever? Oh my god. Would you ever consider scat action? Much love. Um, isn't top or bottom like a gay question? Like about who like is the person who has sex with people? Am I single? No, I'm probably the most unsingle person ever. Been going out with my girlfriend for nearly 6.5 years since we were 17, so ages. Am I top or bottom? I don't think that's a relevant question for me. Would you ever consider scat? No, I would never ever consider scat. Is this like the rational voice on another account? No, I would never. Animal powers. Thanks for the question, but I would never consider scat. Sorry. So Bob Perry said, I missed some of this. How did Ben shut down your Wi-Fi? Basically, Bob, my Wi-Fi kept messing up, and I had made 2 different live streams, and it kept going down. Because I think Ben Shapiro was just mad at me, and then I eventually, I don't know, he got too annoyed and left, I think. No, did I not say thanks to you? I think I said thanks. Violently Brownie, yeah, I really appreciate the donation. Wasn't there a guy? Oh, Olivia, thanks so much for the donation. Raining. Oh, Mac, you've influenced her. No, I super appreciate Olivia and everyone else. I'm bawling now. It's raining. I'm like a stripper on camera. Jordan saying, wasn't there a guy recently attacked by a cougar and he choked it out? That sounds funny. It reminds me, I don't know if it's true, but it reminds me of that guy in Australia who punched the kangaroo in the face when the kangaroo was squaring up to box him because it was trying to attack his dog or something. Such a funny video. The miscarriage thing is what you think about. Oh, okay. Rational voice saying, don't judge a book by its cover. So Troll saying 57% of Italian Americans voted for Trump. Irish Americans were split. Still, why the hell are 50% of Irish Americans voting for Trump, man? JFK would have hated Trump. Bob saying, I can't understand Ben. He talks too fast. My brain's full. Yeah, he talks very fast. I thought I talked fast. He's like, just talking so much shit and so quick. He's just tricking everyone. Sorry. Max saying, to be fair, it only makes sense to jail women who miscarry. It's obvious at that point they're engaged in witchcraft. Yeah, exactly. That's probably what some... I wouldn't be surprised if some Republicans still think that. Alex said, read American Fascist by Chris Hedges. It's a great chronicle of the Christian right in America. Oh, that's interesting, because I made a video about how America inspired Nazi Germany. It wasn't so much the Christian bit, but I'm sure the Christians would... Oh, Chris Hedges, who's on the Jimmy Dore show. Yeah, I need to check that out. I don't read enough. Here's a question. I've got Sam Harris book sitting on my shelf. The one he's famous for. What's it called? The one he's super famous for. I forgot what was it called. Is it worth reading or not? I'm sure some people have read it. End of Faith, I think, came out in 2005. Is that worth reading, or is and another opinion, is Sam Harris like part of the dark web in terms of like he's racist and shit like that? Because I never really know. Because people were saying he is. Max saying Connor's definitely a verse. Is that what they call it? He takes it both ways. No way. Will Winstanley, Native American tribes in the New World didn't eat enough of the buffalo to dent their millions. Hindus who use milk to make rennet-free cheese and worship the dung. Very wise people love animals. Yeah, that's a good point actually. I never really thought about it like that. But Indians do eat a lot of other animals. Bob Perry. Why does it keep going back up to my old point? Bob Perry, I'm glad to see you're doing well, bro. A short time ago, you're still trying to decide there's an audience for British American politics. Oh, that. Cheers, Bob. When did I say that? I'm trying to imagine. But yeah, it's doing a lot better, the channel. Last 2 months, actually have an audience of like consistent people. Actually have people who. What the hell? I didn't even shadow ban you, the guy just posted. Having people who turn up to the live stream and stuff, it's all good stuff. I'm just hoping I can get a bit bigger. I want to get 10k at some point. I think the election will help me. Like, I'm planning on like, live streaming the debates and like talk about them afterwards, the Democratic ones. So hopefully that pushes me over a bit later this year. I think some of the Democratic debates start, don't they? Charles saying, are black British voters more Tory or Labour? Labour, definitely. Black people, not saying there isn't any of them, but you wouldn't generally vote for the Tories and stuff. But yeah, it's a weird question. Violently Brantley, oh no, you donated $20. I super appreciate it. It was way too much, but very kind for doing it. Our super chats a redistribution of wealth? Not really, because I guess I'm not I'm not giving it back. I don't have a community to really give it into, and like to help redistribute even more. And I'm not exactly like I don't know. I don't think you're like, well, pardon if you are, but if you're not really wealthy, you're not one of the bourgeois, and we don't need to like take your assets and redistribute it, because I don't think violently Randy you've made your money off the backs of all of us. But yeah, super appreciate the $20. It's way too nice. And yeah, thanks again. Thanks to everyone who's donated. It's very kind of you all. I super appreciate it. It's always super nice to get, even though YouTube takes so long to process all this money. I have so much money in my YouTube account. It hasn't even got into my AdSense yet. So Alex saying, I was thinking about quitting lab science and going into medicine anyway. Yeah, well, if killing these rats is really affecting you, I definitely would. If it's too upsetting. So Max saying, the guy who choked the cougar was pretty small and a Syrian guy. It's crazy that's what badass he chants. I mean, oh my god, it's so funny. Rational voice. You're not very rational sometimes, though. The name chose you. The Tabernacle name did choose me, actually. It just popped into my head one day. So Chris saying, evangelicals went 85% plus for Trump. They view him as, some view him as the end time symbol for the Bible. Yeah, I've heard that before. Chrissy saying, what's your view on the failed coup in Venezuela by my beloved far-right government? I'm curious. Yeah, it's kind of silly. Like, I was following it a bit, and it's kind of scary. Like, people need to realise, I know it's not always about oil, but why does the US care about Iran and Venezuela? Like, there's so many corrupt dictatorships, there's so many, like, states like them. Why do they care? Well, there's not so many states like Iran, that's pretty special, but, you know, why does it care so much about them? It's because they're two of the biggest, you know, they're two of the most oil-rich countries. It's not too hard to work out. You know, people talk about, we will let US companies go in there and exploit the oil and shit like that. Come on. Thought people would learn by the Iraq War. But it's good it's failed, but at the same time, it's a bit of a shit show there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's two bad choices. Who do you really choose? And because they had all their socialist economy wrapped up in the you know, oil money, it made it so much worse. So Adam's saying Shapiro's a fucking loser. All rap is stupid. If you like it, you're a moron. Yeah, I do hate Ben Shapiro, and that is dumb as well. Yeah, people think Shapiro's smart because he talks fast. Yeah, exactly. Chris saying, it was true, he choked it to death, but it was a starving cougar kitten, only £20, still a bad situation, but not a full-grown cougar. £20, that's pretty mean. That's supposed to be quite a small cougar. I'm 120 pounds, yeah, I wish. No, not really. 180 pounds, so 185 pounds. Ben always asks a load of questions and affirms his belief by reminding himself that his wife is a doctor. Yeah, it was such a sweet takedown on the BBC. Shapiro legit says anyone who likes rap is a moron. So Sam Harris, he's not racist, he's an equal opportunity discriminator. Christy said, oh, for fuck's sake. Christy saying, a letter to Christian Nation, my favourite, Sam Harris. But, okay, so you don't mind him. So Max saying, he's not alt-right, racist or anything like that, but he's a big Israel defender and has many blind spots on politics. Yeah, he also said that stuff about the Crusades. For someone who is so smart and everything, or, you know, in a lot of ways, saying that the Crusade was a response to like Muslim aggression and stuff, that's just like an alt-right myth and like a Christian myth. Like I made a video, I think that 3 Arrows guy made a video that was similar to mine, debunking alt-right myths and stuff. Rational Voice thinks he's a pseudo-intellectual, very overrated. He does a lot of good stuff, but yeah, like I just said, the stuff in the Crusades is a bit annoying. So Sam Harris is not racist. He actually on the left. He votes left. He cares about left politics. He just questions ideologies, including Islam. Doesn't mean he doesn't like Muslims. Yeah, some of his stuff is weird, Christy. Like the voter thing. No, not the voter. The racial profiling thing in airports. Especially now we have so much white Christian terrorist attacks. Violently Brandy telling me to buy a beer. Oh, Bob, thanks for the $2, man. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate that. Oh, Alex, thanks a lot, man. Rodent blood money coming your way. Thanks for $5, man. I really appreciate it. Rest in peace, all those rodents. Just know you died to make Alex's bank account fatter, and some of that has come my way. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. You're doing it for science, and it just sucks that we still use rats. It's not your fault. Max saying we're all part of Team Cav. You're going to be next Jake Paul one day. I don't know if any of you know this. My brother is actually quite a big YouTuber. He has like 1 million subs, and he covers all that like Jake Paul and stuff crap. and he makes his living off YouTube, and he's actually pretty loaded. Wait, I'll link his channel in the comments. But he was the one who inspired me to do YouTube actually. Like he's helped me in a lot of ways, not like shout outs and stuff, but like give me equipment and stuff like that. But yeah, he's got 100,000 subs. But he does all that drama stuff, like he's doing the James Charles stuff, at the moment. But he gets like recognised on the street and stuff. Hopefully that'll be me one day. So here we go. That's my brother's channel if you want to check it out. Charles saying, what do I think of Irish Americans voting for Trump? Yeah, I said earlier, it's stupid. Like, JFK, and then you go to fucking Trump. Like, Irish, it's probably all about the abortion thing, for a lot of them, which is so stupid. Rational Voice saying, Sam Harris takes on Islam, but his take on Islam, objective minority, and politics is disastrous. Islam is not worse than other religions. Rational Voice, I don't think it's a bad take to think Islam could be worse, because everything's very specific. So Christy's saying I equally loathe Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Judaism, and all the other magical thinking ideologies. That does not mean that I just like Christian, Muslim, Hindus, Jews. Yeah, I agree with that as well. I don't know if I equally loathe it, because I don't know. I'll get into it a bit more when I catch up on the comments. Alex saying there's a concept called adverse outcome pathways, molecular changes in cells that we can presume would cause organ pathology, then the scales up as other systems, but alternatives should exist. So you just do it in cells instead of rats, is that what you're saying? Yeah, it would be nice not to kill animals. Sorry, I'm really behind on these comments, shit. Right, Randy, so moving to my phone to go up to the bank, I have to drive. Oh, okay. I don't know if you're going to keep me on. I despise men with a burning passion, or you despise the man with a burning passion? Matt saying, what kind of music does Shapiro listen to? It's either like traditional Orthodox Jewish music. That sounds like shit. He just listens to right wingers like Ted Nugent. Yeah, probably. Chris saying, oil has driven American foreign policy for 60 years. President Sanders would put a thumb in the eye of the military-industrial complex. Doug saying, hi, Kavanagh. Hi, Doug. Thanks for joining the stream. Chris is saying it's terrifying, it's deplorable. How do you feel about the workforce in the UK? Doug, what parts of the workforce? It's quite a broad question. Chris is saying the Trump administration is screaming about human rights, abuse in Venezuela, but they need to overthrow the government. What about Yemen, Somalia, Palestine? Yeah, what about Saudi Arabia? What about, like you're saying, Israel? What about all these military dictatorships across the world? What about the Philippines? You know what I mean? Who's bro Brantley? Guys, Brantley. Yeah, Brantley, if you're on the road, don't type. Okay, you're probably one of the only one left, man. So DRFTR77 said I discovered your channel from the Cavos thing. Yeah, so that was probably you're probably the only one still who subscribes who's from my brother. Thanks, Matt, for another donation. Save the Romans, experiment on humans, experiment on Republicans. No, I'm joking. But yeah, cheers for the donation, man. Way too kind, way too much. Chrissy's saying, oh, okay, PayPal. What do you mean we'll win, Stanley? Do I have a PayPal? Charles saying Bernie Sanders debated at the Oxford Union, I think. I don't know if he debated. I think he gave a speech. I still can't get it to a whole dollar amount. Always a 99. I really don't know how this works. Sorry, guys. I don't know if you can make it like $5 instead of 99. How do you join the House of Lords? Yeah, Mac. He didn't start 2 years ago. Wait, I'm gonna look at his. I got his channel open. But he started. I'd say he started 3 years ago, but he deleted some of his old videos. But yeah, he's only been doing it for like let's say 3 years. Yeah, I remember talking to him in 2016. I remember we used to play PlayStation when I was at uni. And he was just starting uni when I was in second year, and he was first. And we used to talk about like stuff he could do on YouTube when he had like 5K subs and stuff. So yeah, about 3 years. How do you join the House of Lords? Well, you have to be knighted by the Queen, so you have to be a Sir first, and then don't know what the process is to get in. I know Alan Sugar is a Lord, and he's like our equivalent of Donald Trump. He did the Apprentice here. He has like a funny rivalry with Piers Morgan. Apparently Brandon's driving now. Yeah, don't text and drive. Don't worry, I'm still watching. Okay, you can just listen. Save the rodents, or whatever you spell it. Really weird, but yeah, save the rodents, or just don't kill them in gas chambers, maybe. Chol saying you should be an MP in 2030. Yeah, it's something I'm considering in my life at some point. You don't, but obviously I don't have to worry too much because politics is like, it's kind of like a job you don't retire from in a way. Like so many old men do it like for ages, don't they? So Christopher Guest, I'm just looking up who this is. What's a lord? He was married to Jamie Lee Curtis. Interesting. The fourth, member of the House of Lords, temporary he had a peerage. Oh, his seat was abolished. They must have reformed the Lords. Oh, because he inherited his seat, so they abolished it. They changed it in 1999, which is good. Change it again. Why does my brother make such low IQ content? I don't know. We're not the same person. He makes the stuff that makes him money. If he was smart with his money, he'd live off this for the rest of his life. He needs to get a bit better with that, but yeah, it's lucrative what he's doing. So much more than what I'm doing. I'm gonna sell out. Start talking about KSI and Jake Paul all the time. So I heard going to Eton gives you a leg up in politics. Well, I'll put it this way: nearly every prime minister in the history of the UK went to Eton, and they've bragged about how it makes prime ministers. This is Spinal Tap. No, I haven't seen that. That's a documentary about Spinal Tap, isn't it? Or is it a film? Calvos is my brother. Yeah, Olivia, do you know who he is? Did you know who he is independent of me? Like, do you know both of us and didn't know we were related? That would be pretty cool. Shows my power is growing. Oh yeah, in terms of the religious stuff, so I get what Sam Harris is saying because there's differences in religion. Irrational Voice and Chrissy were talking about it. So Muslims think the Quran is the literal word of God, right? Christians don't think the Bible is the literal word of God, do they? They know, and that's why there's so much debates. Like when Henry VIII wanted to get a divorce, they're using like all these different verses and be like, this is what supports divorce, this is what doesn't support divorce. This was in what's Deuteronomy or whatever. I forgot what, but I think it is that one. And Sam Harris makes the point is that Christians don't believe everything in the Bible is like the literal word of God. Sometimes, especially the way it's developed in the last 200 years, is a lot of them just think it's stories and stuff. So, for example, I was never brought up thinking Moses was real, thinking Adam and Eve were real people, thinking Noah was real. I was never brought up, even when I went to Catholic school, I was never brought up thinking those are real people. And that is so different to what Christianity was like 100, 200 years ago. Whereas in the Quran, they do believe it's the literal word of God. Like there's no real debate about it. This is what God has said, and it's been written down like word for word. And what Sam Harris makes the point is this is pretty dangerous because it's harder to change something if you think it's the literal word of God. So sorry, Void Puppy saying. Wilwin saying it's a cool Muslim. I'm a piece of cool Muslim. No, Iman of Peace is a fucking shill. I tweeted about him the other day. Actually, funny enough, he said Ilhan Omar. Wait, is this right? Is this just the same person I'm thinking of? One sec. Yeah, he said Ilhan Omar was ISIS with lipstick. ISIS would kill Ilhan Omar because she's such. They would call her an apostate, and he said Ilhan Omar was ISIS, and he agrees with Donald Trump. What right, Muslim in their right mind would ever like Donald Trump, right? And he's a Shia Muslim. Shia Muslims primarily live in Iran. They also live in Iraq as well. Why would he like Donald Trump? I don't know what benefit he would get from liking Donald Trump. I don't know if it's just like some gimmick. People who watch porn say really sexist things for some reason. Yeah, because porn is super sexist, isn't it? Max saying a lot of Southern Baptists think it's the word of God directly. Is Eton like the Phillips Academy in Exeter? Phillips Academy in Exeter in America? I don't know. Eton's super old. It's like literally churns out the high class and stuff. Rowan Stanley, I don't think that's right. The Lords get appointed by the Freemasons. My friend joined the Freemasons. Yeah, I don't think. Do you mean like the Freemasons conspiracies, like they can control politics and stuff? Chrissy saying, "You are fortunate that you're not in America because American children are indoctrinated to believe that Moses helped their founding fathers write the Constitution and is a real person." Well, I think there still is a lot of debate about Moses. Well, there's not a debate because Moses didn't exist and the Exodus didn't happen. But I mean, like, I'd be less shocked if someone thought Moses was real compared to Adam and Eve and Noah. Be still are saying as if Southerners ever cared about God. Well, they pretend they do, but they just justify their bigotry and stuff. So Vibrantly Brownie saying, some Christians take it all literally. My church took every word of the Bible literally, and it's King James only. And that is so funny because the King James Bible was written in a way to make the British monarchy seem more legit because they were scared of the Protestant movement in Europe, where obviously they disavow all this like wealth and stuff and all the monarchies like controlling religion. And the King James Bible is written in a way to promote being loyal to the monarchy. So I wonder what they would tell you, these American people literally believing in every word of the King James Bible, which has been translated and phrased in such a way to make you more loyal to the British monarchy. We did it in our Bible and history module at university. It was really interesting. My professor spoke Hebrew and not ancient Greek. She could read ancient Greek and Old English. She was super smart. Alex saying, what do we feel about nuclear technology? Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm kind of conflicted because nuclear power, like, I want to watch that Chernobyl documentary on HBO. It's meant to be really, really depressing. But obviously it's clean in terms of like in like a short term, but like where do you put all the nuclear waste if we develop it on a mass scale? Because obviously it doesn't break down. Is it thousands of years it doesn't break down? Is it hundreds of years? But what are we going to do, like fire it into space or something? Max saying, people who watch porn is pretty much just saying, another way of saying people. Alex saying, my porn is so sexist, there's no women in it. Well, okay, apart from gay porn, obviously, isn't sexist. Oh yeah, Void Puppy. Didn't someone, the art park, try to make a theme park about Noah or something? Is that what you're talking about? UVA is the Centre for Fraternities thing is weird. B-Cell, what are you talking about? Alright, Charlottesville. Chrissy saying, people do believe in Genesis, which is weird. Joel saying, I heard that the British class system has been ruthless. It doesn't exist really that much anymore. Ruthless is a weird word for it, though. Oh, okay. Richard Spencer, David Duke, and Jason Cassett all graduated from UVA. So it's a racist university. Yeah, Joel, social class is more rigid in England because the upper class are all churned out by the same institutions for about 1,000 years. Oxford, Cambridge, Eton, and everything. So, and America was made by like some of the wealthiest people in America are businessmen who are descended from immigrants. Mac asking, why can't we just shoot the nuclear waste into space? Yeah, I don't know. It's probably not a great idea, but I wonder what the reason is, but we shouldn't. Chris saying the US, Bolton and Pompeo are manoeuvring towards war with Iran. It will be before the next election in order to influence it, mark it down. Yeah, that'd be such a disaster. The only thing is, people are so sick of these wars now. I think even Trump supporters might turn on him for that. Christy, oh fuck. Christy saying Mike Pence is a young Earth creationist. He also believes that Moses was a real person. Yeah, okay. But I'm saying American Christians are crazy. But I'm saying Christians, I think Sam Harris's point is Christians don't, okay, conceptually Christians don't believe that everything is, the word of God and stuff. Like Muslims believe literally, like, it's like God wrote a book. I don't think that's the same in Christianity, is it? But like you were saying, it doesn't really matter because they're all basically believing in it anyway. Because you're saying, like the Ark Park and things like that. Sorry, just get comments. India has India banned the caste system, but when you ban something that's been so entrenched in your society for so long, it obviously doesn't disappear overnight. So they still got still got a legacy of it. So Alex saying firing nuclear waste into space is too risky. If the vessel blows up in the atmosphere, the irradiated material will travel around the troposphere, winds and cause a worldwide fallout. Yeah, that does not sound like a good idea. I don't want to shoot nuclear waste into space now. Shit. Yeah, Jordan was agreeing. Max saying someone needs to run and present on the platform of building a space catapult to shoot all the waste for the atmosphere. Enough velocity to reach bound to space. Matt 2032. Just a small downside of potentially irradiating the whole Earth. Oh, Alex, that is so ridiculous. One of my colleagues is a young Earth Christian that doubts evolution, has science degrees. That is so amazing. How can you be so dumb but have 2 degrees in science? Yeah, fundamentally, yeah, America probably is the worst country for Christianity in terms of it's in a lot of poorer countries, it's more like they're in authoritarian countries where there's not as much freedom of speech and stuff. Whereas America prides itself on having unlimited freedom of speech, and so many people believe in the craziest shit. Is that a back? No, I don't think it is a backlash of having freedom of speech, having all these crazy things. But at the same time, America's just crazy for some reason. Yeah, Stilwell. I think even though Thomas Jefferson had slaves, so did George Washington. Maybe they're seeing it. Maybe Nazis would see it. I don't know. If they love Confederates so much, maybe they hate everything that's American. I don't know. Jordan saying the best way to store nuclear waste is deep underground. Yeah, but Alex was asking what do we think of nuclear power, and I'm talking about if we all started using it loads, obviously dangers of a meltdown and stuff, but keep putting it underground. Don't know what the effects of that. Joel's saying British upper class speaking a different accent. Well, they do. Go listen to Jacob Rees-Mogg talk or David Cameron, but at the same time, it's not really rigid either anymore. It's kind of mixed together. We need to get rid of school zones. They're so annoying when you're driving. Yeah, but you don't want to kill a kid speeding in a school zone. Even if they got rid of them. He was working on a industry degree before Puerto Rico got married, as he says. And he's a young Earth creationist. That is so crazy. Ark Park equals genocide and incest park. Yeah, Noah's family repopulated the Earth. Oh, okay. Heather, the one who died, came Saturday because of what she saw Friday night. Oh, interesting. Chris saying best to avoid nuclear waste, renewables, and battery storage. Instead, you can't not believe in evolution. Yeah, it's not a thing for the Trump campaign. Yeah, Trump unleashed proper fascist white supremacy, in terms of his activism. He re-unleashed it. Obviously, it's always been a thing in America. You had the Nazi Party in the 50s in America and stuff. So George Rockwell, he's a character in Man in the High Castle. Max saying, I live across the street from a fundamentalist religious university that makes you have chaperones for dates. just in 2000 allowed interracial dating. Wow, that's crazy. And I speak in an American accent. Can I speak in an American accent? I could, but now I'm all like self-conscious on stream. Let me think. What's my best stuff? I can do a good, like working class British one, which I always piss off my girlfriend doing when we're just fucking around and stuff. American. What American accent do I sometimes do? I only do like the Jersey one is the one I normally do, like from Sopranos or something. Like they say like Joyzy and stuff. Of course I can speak an American accent, but unscripted maybe not. That's interesting. Stillwell says places where Trump held rallies, violence increased 226%. Hate crime violence, yeah, not surprising at all. Violent Rebranded saying Jesus will be so disappointed when he gets back and see we haven't been beating our slaves. The Bible instructs us to. Yeah, exactly. Baha Roth says nuclear waste takes 10 years. Oh, nuclear power takes 10 years to build. Saw an interview recently where the former chairman of the U.S. Regulatory Commission says it's not fast enough to address climate change, and renewables are cheaper for energy. Charles saying, is there classism against British people from the Midlands and North because of their different accents? I guess there is a bit of classism there against the Northern people, but North has also been way poorer. It's not like exactly their fault because the Tory government fucked them over, but I guess there is a bit. There's a guy I was playing football with today from like Liverpool. It was kind of weird. Do Britain have oligarchs? Yeah, of course we do. It's different though. We obviously have like the CEO business types. So we also have like descendants of like landed aristocracy, and sadly a lot of them are Tory politicians. But the British upper class looks down on everyone. Yeah. Britain helped set up the Confederates. In Britain, it was split because a lot of cotton mill towns in Britain supported the Confederates because that's where the cotton came from. So it propped up some British industries and stuff. 8 of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence were born in Britain, 1 from England. Well, most of them would have been from the United Kingdom, even though the UK didn't exist in its modern form then. It was only Scotland and England. And then it was Ireland in 1802. Ireland as well. And Wales, of course. What did I say? Yeah, Britain has oligarchs. Oh, yeah. No problem. Alright, so it's getting pretty late. I've been super busy today, so I might go off soon. 10 more minutes, I give it. Just people getting their final things in. Alex saying, my boyfriend picks Pittsburgh, but it's still not better than New Jersey. Did anyone watch Jimmy Dore show? Because he has these he has these prank calls where this guy he knows calls in as a celebrity. And when he gets Chris Christie to call in, he does a Tony Soprano voice, and it is so fucking funny. It's so good. But he also does a Vince Vaughn one and a Liam Neeson one. They're so funny. They're such good impressions. Best thing about Jimmy Dore. Max saying it's almost 4:20. You better spark up. Nah, never. I've never smoked weed in my life, and I never plan to. I think Mac, you were telling me to last time. You were like trying to make me do it. But yeah, the Chris Christie prank calls. If I ever go on Jimmy Dore's show like the Rational National did, I'm so telling him I've loved these prank calls forever. They're so fucking funny. Chris Christie, Jimmy Dore. The Vince Vaughn's ones are so hilarious though. I don't know what was the best one. Oh, the Bridgegate one. Oh man, I love this video. So fucking good. Link it in the chat. People can watch it later. But the Tony Soprano voice is so fucking funny. Okay, still was saying, yeah, people said Scotland, rich racists help support the Confederates. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. It's the same way like Americans funded the IRA and shit. Jimmy skits are great. Yeah, so funny. Christy saying Jimmy Dore prank calls are good. He had some on Obama lately, where Obama was like, oh, I need to find him. This so fucking funny. Like, because he called himself like Black Reagan. What happened to that Keith Oberman guy? I just seen Jimmy posted a video about it. Rip Owens unhinged red baiting. Yeah, what happened to him? Did he go do sports or something again? Let me get the Bernie Sanders prank calls are so good as well. Like the guy who does the voices for all these people. I think it's one guy who does them all. It's so good. Who is it? Voiced by Mac Ray. Yeah, he does all of them. It's so fucking funny. Yeah, Jimmy is a funny guy. Alex saying, how do we feel about leftist political comedy like what Jimmy and the Fugly... Who's the Fugly RT? I don't know who that is, but Jimmy's super funny. Like I'm saying about his prank calls and stuff. And his general humour is pretty good as well. Charles saying, who was the last Prime Minister who came from the working class? Working class? I don't think there's anyone who's ever came from the working class. Tony Blair didn't go to Eton though. I guess Ed Miliband could have been, but he went London School of Economics, but I don't know if he's working class though. More like a normal person. Wait, early years. Wait, so Tony Blair, the son of Leo and Hazel Blair, and his dad was the illegitimate son of two entertainers and was adopted by a shipyard worker. So he does come from, a background like that. Oh, but he went to prep school, so I guess his parents were quite well off. So I guess he wasn't working class either. Obama one was hilarious. Yeah, it was so good. Will Stanley says, you can safely use mind-altering drugs like weed after full brain development. Too young can hurt, I'm guessing you're saying. John Major never went to Oxford or Cambridge. Yeah, I think there's Prime Ministers who didn't go to Oxford and Cambridge, but I think nearly, like, a high percentage of them, like, the majority went to Eton. Some went to, like, London School of Economics and stuff, which is good as well. Alex saying Lee Camp, that's his name. Lee Camp, I've seen him on Twitter, I don't follow him. But yeah, leftist comedy, like, is only really funny, I think, from at least a sense. Like, there's no funny right-wing comedians, really. I mean, there's funny right-wing actors, like Mel Gibson is funny in, like Lethal Weapon and stuff. He's super funny. Like, that scene when, Murtaugh's daughter's in, like, is it like the condom advert or something, and they're in, like, The Office and Lethal Weapon 2. So fucking funny. Mel Gibson can be funny, even though, obviously, massive racist and anti-Semite. Is Corbyn not working class? Yeah, Corbyn is, I think. But, obviously, not Prime Minister yet. Hopefully one day. Corbyn, let me see. Early life. Corbyn was born in Chippenham and brought up in Kington St Michael. Youngest of four sons from a maths teacher and an electrical engineer. His parents are Labour Party members and peace campaigners who met in the 30s. So I don't know. So when Corbyn was 7 years old, the family moved to Parv Lane in Shropshire, where his father brought Yew Tree Manor, a 17th century country house that was once part of the Duke of Sutherland's estate. 7-bedroom country house when he was 7 years old. So it's like a farm, and it's now worth £600,000. So I don't think he is upper class then, because in a house in London, £600,000 ain't buying you a great house in London. So, you know. So Stephen Crowder is not hilarious. He's a fucking idiot. The last president who came for the working class was Lyndon Johnson. Richard Nixon. He literally came from nothing, like I think it's poor farm or something. Obama grew up upper middle class. I don't know enough about Obama. Maybe he's middle class, but obviously came from a hard background in terms of, like, single mum, and he's obviously black as well, growing up in the 80s and stuff. So he didn't have it easy or anything. Sorry, one sec. And Violent Brand just told Taco Bell, no, I would not like to make a donation to help local teams with scholarships, just those their teams. They'll split my food for sure. Why don't you make a donation? Oh, Taco Bell are so good. There isn't one in London. There isn't one in London. There's one in Guildford, which is near me, and there's one in Southampton where I went to university. And I remember me and my girlfriend went like one of the last days we were in Southampton uni, and we just thought it was so good, and it was such good value as well. And we wanted it to come to where we live so badly. Sadly, my last Taco Bell, I only ate it twice. Once in 2017, never again. So Alex saying, can confirm cannabis alters the trajectory of brain development because they generally lower firing rates between neurons and the frequency at which they can reach threshold. Yeah, that's interesting. One of my friends, he was pretty smart in school, but he started doing weed when he was like 15. He became so fucking lazy, and he basically flunked the whole school, like got no grades. So Owen Benjamin is a comedic genius. Owen Benjamin, that rings a bell. For fuck's sake, no. Kavanako has a girlfriend confirmed. She's been on like 2 of my videos where I've introduced her as my girlfriend. Kelsey Grammer and Fraser. Yeah, I've never watched Fraser. I guess I don't know how old you are, Alex, but maybe past my too young for it. Obama was an elitist. Well, he wasn't, but he became, just corporate hacking it, didn't he? Okay, apparently Brantley gives to other programs. That's fair enough. I'm not saying you have to give to Taco Bell. Taco Bell's delicious. Crunchwrap Supreme is my fave. Yeah, I don't know what I got, but it was so nice. But you got to get the beef, really. But I know there's chicken as well. FDR was worth 50 mil. Yeah, FDR was rich. He's Theodore's cousin. Chris saying, thanks, mate. Good conversation. Appreciate his perspectives and videos. Keep up the great work. 10K just around the corner. Yeah, thanks, Chris. I think that means you're leaving. But yeah, cheers for tuning in and all the good comments. Hopefully, I'm hopefully for 6K this week. Just give me 6K. I need another video to blow up like the Ben Shapiro one did. Yeah, Chris is saying been his girlfriend for many years. Yep, 6.5 years. It's gone so quick. I still feel like a 17-year-old sometimes. Theodore Roosevelt was richer than FDR, I think. Look it up. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Alex says he's in his 20s. Fraser is awesome. Don't fuck with me on this one. Alex, have you watched Mr. Robot? There's a character you'd really like. He's called Leon, but he's played by a guy called Joey Badass, who's a rapper, and he's watching like all the old TV shows like Frasier, Seinfeld, Knight Rider, and he's just talking about how much he loves them, but in such a funny way. He's like a pothead as well. Such a good show though. What do I watch which is old fashioned for my time? I'm trying to think. Do I watch any shows that are old? The oldest show I watched, not even old, is like Deadwood or something, or Band of Brothers, probably the oldest show. That's like, and Sopranos. I started the first 2 seasons, but I didn't finish. Old shows though. Friends is the oldest show I watch. Not really watch. I watch it in my girlfriend's. Oh, come on, Mac. How can you not get into Mr. Robot? It's so fucking good. That first episode is so good. Are you doing other things while you're watching it? You've got to concentrate. Yeah, Chris is saying Mr. Robot is very good. Alex saying it'd be his kind of shit. Yeah, watch it for this character alone. Douglas Adams, he wrote my Bibles. Who's Douglas Adams? I'm searching up. Douglas Adams was... Oh, he wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Is a 200k salary considered upper class in England? It's not upper class, but that's very well off. For some indication, a job I was going to accept the other day, well, it's kind of crap because I have a master's degree, it's 21k was going to be my starting salary, which is shit. But you kind of just got to start at 20 now, which is so annoying. Probably get better money fucking working behind a bar. Not exactly, but probably in Grimsby. Grimsby's a shithole. I've never been. Didn't Sacha Baron Cohen make that film, Grimsby? I should watch End of Watch. Isn't End of Watch like... Is it either that comedy or that... Oh shit, that Michael Pena, Jake Gyllenhaal movie. Michael Pena's a Scientologist. Yeah, I should have watched it. I wanted to watch it when it came out. I got a poster in my room, I think, like a little one. My beard's so fucked up today. Skins was a great teen drama. Yeah, I watched some Skins. Who's in the Nicholas Hoult and Nicholas Hoult, Jack O'Connell, and the guy from what's that Indian film? Not Life of Pi, the Danny Boyle one. Shit, I don't remember it. That's really bad. Charles saying you have to make $400,000 to be in the upper class. 200,000 isn't upper class, but you're definitely well off, especially if you're like don't have a family. Alex, I've watched Van Helsing. That's the Hugh Jackman one. It's pretty funny, like how bad some of it is, but I did like it as well, like the werewolf stuff. Cum Dog Millionaire, yeah, that is it. Max saying, what's the worst town I've been to in England? Probably Plymouth. Such a shithole. But they've regenerated it a bit, so it has some nice parts to it. Plymouth. Oh, where my mate lives, I drove last Friday, called Harrow in London. Bit of a dump. Oh, where Arsenal football ground is, in North London, is a bit of a shithole as well. Islington, it's Jeremy Corbyn's district. Or it's what his seat's from. It's a bit of a dump. Trying to think anywhere else in the country I've been that shit. I'd say Plymouth is the worst. Super run down, like old Navy dockyard town. Obviously not its fault for like its economy going away. That was Margaret Thatcher, but still. Charles saying, I'm trying to make 200,000 a year when I'm an adult, but there aren't many jobs that offer that kind of salary in politics. That kind of job's like a business job, like or like a banker job. You gotta really, really like balance it like with what you want to do and money. Because I know someone who's gone straight into a 90k job from uni, but it's like in banking. So and it's literally like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So, you know, do you really want to do that? I wouldn't want to do that even if I could. So Will saying said FDR wanted to kill 20 million Germans at the end of the war. Why did he want to kill loads of Germans? Loads of Germans were killed at the end of the war by the Czechs because, as probably a lot of you are aware, Hitler used the excuse that the Sudeten Germans were being oppressed by the Czechs, so could he invade Czechoslovakia to make it part of Germany, basically. But then after the war, the Czechs kicked out all the Germans, and they made them do like death marches and stuff. It's kind of fucked up. Another interesting thing about Czechoslovakia as well is they weren't taken over by the Soviet Union, like in a lot of those countries where the Soviet Union came in and propped up like new Soviet governments or new communist governments. They just chose to be it, and the prime minister, or the leader who chose them to be communist, and was the leader at the start. He was the deputy leader of the country when it set up as an independent state in 1918. So it's pretty interesting. Alex, here's the birds. Yeah, the birds are kind of out. Like, let me take you to my windowsill. Look how early it is, everyone. Oh, look at that. It's the morning. I'm super fucking tired, though. I played, do I not work Mondays? It's the beauty of being not employed full-time. I'm still looking for a job. No, gorgeous sunrise. Everyone's loving it. I'm going to live stream outside next time. No, I don't work full time at the moment. I'm looking for jobs, which has been a piss take. It's 11:30 in Tampa. I'm going to come to America to travel back in time, get some more time back. No, in terms of jobs, yeah, I nearly got this job a month ago. I went for 2 interviews, then worked a day there, then I didn't get it. It's so annoying. And at the moment, I'm freelance writing, so I write for this immigration thing. So I write stuff about Brexit mainly, but like journalist stuff. So I've been published recently in a couple of things. I'm writing a script for TiVo football soon, and I'll make some money from YouTube. But yeah, searching for jobs is so long. I graduated in December, and I still can't find a job. But I'm trying to get a job I like, and I'm trying to get a journalist job, which obviously I don't have a journalism degree. I have a history degree and international relations masters, so I have journalism experience, but I'm not trained as a journalist, so it's quite annoying. Hopefully something will come along. I applied for some stuff on Friday that looked quite promising in terms of like my skill set, so we'll see what comes around. Yeah, cheers, Mac. It is a grind. It's just pretty depressing. Like, I'm trying not to take it seriously because I did my degree and then my masters like no break, and I know people who had a gap year after school before university, then took a break for ages, then did their masters, and most people in my masters class are way older than me, like 30 years old, 29, 28 and stuff. So I don't feel so bad. Like, I got it all out of the way. Joel, you could become an analyst. Is the main thing to make money, I think. Gorgeous sunrise, birdies, and it's gorgeous. Charles saying, I think contributors at CNN make 100 grand a year. That's not so bad. 11:30 in Tampa. Beautiful morning. It's 10:27 at my place. 11:30 in Pennsylvania. Heard the screech of the foxes fucking the forest a few minutes ago. I hate that sound. The foxes screaming so loudly. Made it home without finding myself dead. Yay! And you got your Taco Bell as well. Yeah, Matt, that's a good point. If things get too depressing, just know you at least have healthcare, but you don't have to worry about losing. Things could be worse. You could be American. Yeah, exactly. How much did they pay? About 30K maybe, something like that. Not great, to be honest. Only 8:28 in Portland. Olivia, you didn't get back to me. Did you know who my brother was? And not know who I was at the same time. Do you not know we were related? Because you're saying I'm Cow's brother. Because it sounded like you knew him. Oh, that's so weird. Who did you subscribe to first? That's pretty cool, actually. Me. Oh my god, that's so weird. And you found him totally independent of. Oh man, that's so cool. Who would have thought? Used to be like a lot of my subscribers, like one of the guys in the chat earlier, subscribed to me from Cow's channel because I used to be like linked in some of his descriptions and stuff. Survivor Brand is saying pot turns speeders into slow drivers, saving more than 10 people a day. Yeah, it's way better than drinking. Charles saying 30K would put me into poverty if I had children. Yeah, it's £30,000, isn't it? And if you had two people doing it, that's a bit of a lie, Charles. If me and my girlfriend had 30K each, you could survive on that. Christine, I linked this channel. He has 1 million subs, but he doesn't do politics. He does like more like generic YouTube stuff. So subscribe to him if you want. You do what you please. Yeah, I don't think you'll particularly like his content though. But I was just pointing out. But it's amazing. Someone subscribed to me first. And they didn't know we were. Poverty line for adult in America to around 22K. Yeah, but that's $22,000, not £22,000. And the thing in the UK, you have healthcare and stuff paid, don't you? Already. All right, it's 4:30. Last questions, get them in, and then I'm gonna go to bed. It's been such a long day. Woke up, banged out some weights, drove to like an hour away to play football for 2 hours, then came back, went to my girlfriend's, then came back and did this. Sweet dreams. Okay, good night, Olivia. Anyone got anything left to say? Rational voice. Christy, you date him and don't know his brother. I think Christy's a bit older than I am. And I think Christy's in a relationship as well. Do I think American football is lame as shit? It's super boring and it stops all the time. And why is there so many advert breaks? Soccer is so much better. Because I like watching it and I really like playing it. But yeah, American football's dumb. I don't date him, silly fans. I think Rational Voice just trolling. He always likes trolling the chat. The dog. Agreed. Yeah. 32 years old and I have a wife. Yeah, Rational Voice. I don't think me and Christy would be a good match, considering she's 20 years older than me and has a wife. But I think me and Christy agree on a lot of politics, so we wouldn't be the worst pair. You can hear the birds. Good morning, mate. Basketball players make hundreds of millions in America. Yeah, well, I think football players might be a bit richer. One football player for the team I like makes nearly £500,000 a week. Mental. David Beckham used to make $500,000 in 2008 or 2007 a week when he used to play for LA Galaxy. Mental. Alex, how can you go out with him if he's Republican, man? He's becoming Republican, left the party because of Trump. I've been dragging him leftward. How do people support Trump, man? And is he what does he work as? Tiger Woods is back. I'm glad he's turning things around. Honestly, yeah. It's kind of a cool story, even though, like, Tiger Woods didn't beat his wife, did he? Chris is saying, I hope you have an awesome day tomorrow, Connor. Sweetest dreams, mate. Oh, thanks, Chrissy. Hope you have a good day and a good week. Thanks for being in the chat and making all these good comments and educating me about your opinion on Sam Harris was good. Violently Brantley is single. You can go out the rational voice then. Alex is super gay. Oh, because Rational Voice called him gay. Come on, Rational Voice. Chill out, man. Little homophobe. Wait. She beat his ass, but then he cheated on her like every thought on the West Coast. Yeah, okay. That's why I'm getting mixed up. Chol, don't put pressure on yourself. I need to make at least 6 figures by 30. You'd be like my little brother. I'm pretty sure he's probably made 6 figures doing a year of YouTube. According to Social Blade, he has. They think he's made between like 100k and 150 or something just from ad revenue. Crazy. Not that he would tell me about it. I know at least one girl named Alex. So that's still presumption. Yeah, actually, that's fair enough. I know some people called Alex as well. Girls. All right, that's the stream done, I think. Because look, it's even brighter. Everyone's loving it. It gets light so early here now. Like, it'll be light by the time I go to bed. Alright, so no problem with being gay though. Yeah, we don't even need to say that in this chat. Hopefully everyone feels that way. Yeah, thanks Christy and Brantley for hanging out. Thanks everyone for the donations. Super appreciate it. To the Rational Troll, yeah, okay. He's a young lad, so that's probably why he's saying all this shit. Probably like some edgelord. He's fought Trump as well, cutting some slack. Yeah, cheers everyone for hanging out tonight. This week, the videos I'm going to try and make, I think, I'm going to make one on UBI. Daytime, yeah, good morning for me. I'm going to make one on UBI, talking about what I think of it, I think. I'm going to try and make that second part on Joe Biden, maybe for the weekend. And I have some bookmarks saved and stuff. I read a really horrible story about Calvin Klein. People make Calvin Klein stuff in Ethiopia. And might just talk about like ethical capitalism and stuff. But we will see. I also want to make a video about if the Republican Party are either American Nazis in Man in the High Castle or those weird men in Handmaid's Tale. I'll see how that goes. But yeah, Chris, thanks man. Christy, Alex, Joel, and everyone else. So Mac, yeah, been fun. So next Sunday, hopefully another stream. And yeah, just check out the videos I put up lately and stay tuned this week for more videos. And yeah, thanks for coming back as well. I know we had some technical problems, but it's all sorted. It was all Ben Shapiro's fault. That's how we blame. But yeah, so thank you everyone. I appreciate the new people who've joined as well. I've noticed like Will and Stanley, I've never seen you in here before. Alex, I haven't seen you in before as well. A couple other people as well who've been in and out, which is good. Yeah, that is a service story. Hopefully I'll cover it this week. But yeah, thank you everyone, and everyone have a good week. Hopefully see some of you next Sunday, and cheers for the donations and likes and everything. So